The nightmares get so bad that I wish he would have just pulled the trigger and taken me out of my misery. Don't talk like that. We're lucky to be alive, and I'm glad you ain't lose your lively bed. Alright, I'll sign over the shares, but you better not disappoint me. Trust me, D.A. Russo, you'll be amazed when you see me accomplishing my goal. I've already got my hands full, and I don't want to be burdened with the task of keeping you out of trouble, Miss Franklin. I won't get myself into trouble. Have faith, Commissioner. I'll be more helpful to you than you realize. I'm married, Owen. And has your husband even touched you since he found us together on Labor Day? I don't want you going back home where you don't feel loved. In my presence, you'll always feel loved by me. Just let me love you the way you deserve to be loved. What's been bothering you, Wanda? Ready to go primetime? My dream is about to come true, Ben, but I still can't believe it. Believe it, Quinlan. Soon you'll become a household name, which also means that Danny Clark and the Pena family will become household names as well. Yes, Mama, I miss you too. Yes, I promise to come visit y'all during Christmas. Bye, Mama. Glad you got to spend Thanksgiving with your mom, Viv, even though I lied to her face throughout the entire weekend. After you become the Russo Jewelers CEO, you won't have to lie to her. You're on a roll, Viv. Since you've got Gianni, Heidi, and Max's shares, you now own 40% of Russo Jewelers. And now Essidor is my next target. As long as I do everything right, I'll be able to hit my target with a perfect aim. I'm sorry, Zeke. You're good. I knew we'd run into each other eventually. I'm trying to apologize for what happened on Black Friday, especially since I know that you weren't trying to hurt Nichelle again. I thought that after following tips and going to counseling like Quinn told me, that I'd be able to control myself. Black Friday just proved that I ain't as strong as I thought. Are you gonna tell Nichelle what happened? What do you need to tell me, Zeke? Everything's fine, Udell. There you go, telling me lies. How original. Why are you assuming that I'm lying? Because something's been bothering you since Black Friday, Wanda. Something happened, and you haven't mentioned anything about it. I get that you plan to use your program to shed light on Danny Clark's case, but how do you plan to bring the Pena family into it, Quinlan? Clearly, I'll have to explain how she frequented outside of their massage parlors. That's a fact, and the Penas will use that fact as a reason to attack. What's worse is that you have no factual evidence, which can influence them to make sure they leave no evidence for whatever they might have in store for you. Since you got shares from Gianni and his side of the family, you should be able to tell Essidor that he could sign his shares over to you. I can't get Essidor's shares, Pacho. Not yet. How come? I took the majority of Clarissa's shares while the rest of the family was told that Lorenzo signed over a portion of his shares over to me. My plan was to make the entire family turn against Clarice, and I need to ensure I can accomplish that plan in order for everything to go my way. Somebody needs to start talking. Clearly you two know something that I don't. Nichelle, I'm sorry. Sorry for what? I don't know how. Zeke was at my party for Black Friday. Oh, really? Once again, you go to Yvette's place without me knowing. Were you ever gonna tell me, Zeke? Most of all, why? Were you even at that party? 'Cause I invited him. Don't you understand that I'm still upset that you endorse Heidi Russo? There's no use speaking about it anymore, Udell. Since you don't want to discuss it, then I suggest you suck it up and try to calm down for Yvette's sake. You know how concerned she gets when she notices that the two of us aren't getting along. Calm down? Udell, I've been trying to make peace with you for months, but you keep shutting me down. You have no idea how much it has damaged our marriage. If the Apinas had nothing to do with Danny losing her life, then they have nothing to worry about, Ben. Except you're trying to place them under the national spotlight when you know that Wade was opposed to that. Do you think I care what Wade thinks? I'm not saying that you should, but you better care about what he's capable of doing and what he might do if you make him angry. Well, I don't, and I won't care about that, Ben. Whatever I find out about Danny's case will be shared with the public. Do you have a plan as to how you're gonna make Clarice a common enemy? Here's what's been done already, Pacho. Alan is annoyed at her for not supporting his desire to become the next CEO. I don't know exactly what happened at Thanksgiving, but the Russos all seem to be angry with Isidore. Plus, Gianni already knows that Clarice wants Gianni to take over. I guess all you need to do is make Gianni mistrust her. Exactly. I can't risk him telling Clarice that he believes he's got access to Isidore's shares through me. So how are you gonna put Gianni and his mother at odds? Heidi cheated on Gianni. I bet Clarice still gives that lady the side eye. On top of that, Heidi's priority is keeping her position as district attorney. How are you gonna mix the two, Viv? Now's the time to get your hands dirty, Pacho. Why did you invite my boyfriend to Yvette's party? 'Cause Zeke is a friend of mine. And please don't get upset, Nisha. I told him you could come too, but he said you were busy on Black Friday. You sure didn't give me a personal invite, which means to me that you and I aren't friends, Dee Dee. Most of all, you're not the sort of friend Zeke needs. Hold up, Nichelle. I'm the one who gets to make that choice, not you. Excuse me? You're really gonna take her side over mine? Whatever. Nichelle. I'm really sorry, Zeke. Don't be. You ain't did nothing wrong, Dee Dee. Don't try to turn this around on me, Wanda. I'm not the one to blame for our marriage being on the rocks. Since you want to blame someone, blame yourself because it's your actions that landed the two of us where we are now. Alright, you're absolutely right, Udell. I'm sorry. You have no idea how sorry I am. At least that's something we can agree with, because I sure have no idea how sorry you even are. In the meantime, let's continue to find common ground as long as Yvette lives under my roof. You're a reporter with integrity, Quinlan. I know you won't share any information on the Apinas without any solid evidence, which is why I'm still searching for it. Where exactly are you searching? Wade couldn't give me any answers, so I'll reach out to the person in charge of the parlor Danny hung around at, his younger brother Sean. Absolutely not. Excuse me? You've already placed yourself in danger enough. If you want answers from another Apina, then I'll speak with Sean myself. What do you need me to do, Viv? Since you're endorsing Owen Grant, and since you run a huge media company, I'll need you to work on a smear campaign against Heidi. Luckily for you, I already had that on my list. But how would a smear campaign hurt Clarice? The smear campaign needs to bring up Heidi's past infidelity, bringing public shame to the Russos again. Clarice ain't gonna like it. She'll get upset with Heidi, and Gianni won't like that his mother is giving the woman he loves problems. Just wait until Isabel finds out about this. She'll never take you back. I swear, Gianni, if you even think about telling Isabel, then I'll show our sons which side of the family can actually win a fight. Are you gonna tell Nichelle what happened? What do you need to tell me, Zeke? Wade couldn't give me any answers, so I'll reach out to the person in charge of the parlor Danny hung around at, his younger brother Sean. Absolutely not. Excuse me? You've already placed yourself in danger enough. If you want answers from another opinion, then I'll speak with Sean myself. How do you like this place? It's a really nice atmosphere. Honestly, this is the closest I've ever been to the south side, but I'm glad that you and I have a new spot where we can hang out. But it still seems like you're in a bad mood, Max. Sorry, but I still can't get over the fact that Alan's actions played a hand in Keithburg making our lives miserable. Did you come here for service, Isidore, or did you come here to see me? I came to see you, Isabel. I wanted to know how your first Thanksgiving without Ulissa went. You know we could have went to the new Shirley's Diner instead of hanging out at my job. I've seen how hard you've been working at Theodosius' Palace, and I thought it would be nice to treat you. Besides, I'd like to celebrate the fancy way since my news program is gonna air tonight. Congrats, Gwen. Looks like you finally made it. Thanks. Now where's Nichelle? I thought your girlfriend would be celebrating with us. She got held up. Can I help you? Yes, you can. You're Shauna Pena, right? Who's asking? I'm Ben Russo. I'm looking into the passing of 14-year-old Danny Clark. From what I've gathered, she was seen outside of your establishment before her life was taken. In times like these, we'll return after a word from our sponsor. We Kisses offers lasting hydration and moisturizing to keep your lips feeling soft and supple all day long. Until December 23rd, you can get 10% off for the 4-pack mint and green tea flavor with the promo TIMES. This can be a special treat for you or for a loved one this holiday season. I get that what your cousin did was nasty, but try to keep in mind that Keith's the one who's responsible for his own actions. But when we all found out that Keith was the one who was stalking you, Alan kept silent about his affair with Dr. Murphy. On the other hand, Keith was living with his dad after everything came out. Come on, Max. Don't you realize that you're doing the same thing to Alan that JJ is doing to you? Except the difference is that I understand that my actions caused Ulissa to lose her life that day. It was an extremely tough day, but I ended up visiting her grave. You let your little girl know that she wasn't forgotten, Isabel. That's truly something special. Thank you for thinking about me, Isidore. To be honest, it's difficult not to think about you. Anyways, what about you? How was your Thanksgiving? You don't want to know. Why not let her know, Isidore? Our son informed me how much of a disaster Thanksgiving was. Nichelle literally owns Theodosius' palace. She could clock out early. Just drop it, Quinn. Hold on. That didn't sound good at all. Are you and Nichelle having issues again, Zeke? I thought we came here to celebrate your accomplishments. Why are you trying to bring up my issues? Because I'm your older sister and I care. You know the drill. I want to help you if I can. Are you the police? I'm not. Danny's family isn't really impressed by how the police is handling the case, which is why they hired me to look into her case. Danny's family wouldn't be able to afford you. How do you know that, Sean? Have you and Danny ever crossed paths, since she did hang outside of your place of business? It's been almost 3 full months since that day, Max. When are you gonna stop blaming yourself? You know that I don't blame you. Ulissa wouldn't want you to blame yourself either. I get that you're trying to make me feel better, but it's not gonna change anything, Vanessa. Alright then, maybe the trial will help change your mind. I know that it's months away, but your feelings might change once you share your impact statement with Keith in the courtroom. Getting all of those frustrations out might help you heal, but I pray that you can keep in mind that you can turn to God to help you heal before then. I hate to admit it, but God has been feeling pretty far lately. I'll try to reach out to him the best that I can. What about you? Are you ready to face Keith in court? What exactly did Alan tell you, Harley? And make it quick because you clearly see that I'm in the middle of a conversation. Don't worry about it, Isidore. I'll give you 2 time alone to speak. Please don't go, Isabel. This seems like a family issue, and I don't want to put myself in the middle of it. You two enjoy your day. Do you see what you just did? Not really, but I have something else to ask you. Are you sure that you would have wanted Isabel to be present for me to explain to you what our son told us about Thanksgiving? What do you know? I know that your family found out about Terry preying on Alan. He also filled me in on a secret you kept from your only wife. You know I'm a lawyer, Isidore. How come you couldn't trust me enough to tell me that you knew Terry was responsible for helping to end your late grandfather's life? This thing between Nichelle and I will be fixed. Are you sure, Zeke? I'm sure. Can you at least tell me what the actual issue is? Or maybe you can drop it, Quinn. What are you hiding? Look, I promise not to offer any advice if that's what you're worried about. I never even knew the girl, and you never seen her either. She's been seen out here plenty of times. So has a bunch of other people. It's a busy street. How many of those people had their lives taken and had their naked bodies stuffed in a suitcase? Are you assuming that I had something to do with this? I'm not the sort of person to accuse anyone. I'm just someone searching for answers. I faced Keeve in court before, remember? But that was to get the restraining order. Except he broke that restraining order and pulled a gun on us after the fact. Can you honestly say that you can handle seeing that psycho again? Vanessa, good to see you. Hey, Miss Shirley, how are you? I'm blessed, and I recognize you're a special friend from church. What's your name again, sweetie? Max Russo. Russo, not like Russo Jewelers, right? That's actually right. I'm really the only person in my family who left the Catholic Church and trusted in Jesus Christ rather than works. Lorenzo Russo is my grandfather, but my heathen cousin Alan paid a visit here like a week ago. I never noticed. It's nice to meet you, Max. I don't even know why Alan told you. For starters, I'm the one who did the hard work and gave birth to him. He can tell me anything. Can you say the same about Isabel? Think about it, Isidore. If you had gone to the proper authorities, Keeve would have never been born and Ulissa would most likely still be alive. Since you claim to care about Isabel, I would assume that you feel like she deserves to know the truth. Terry has left town, Harley. Isabel is still mourning her daughter, and it's not getting easier with Christmas just around the corner. I refuse to hurt her by sharing unnecessary information. Keep believing that you're keeping this secret for Isabel's sake. I'm friends with this girl named Dee Dee, but Nichelle's stressing because she don't trust her. Why not just end the friendship since it's clear that Nichelle is upset by it? I thought you weren't trying to give me advice, Quinn. It's just a question. Then here's the answer. Dee Dee ain't the threat to our relationship. You won't find those answers from me. Get out of my face and find answers somewhere else. There are kind of words to tell me to leave. Thanks for your time though, Sean. Wade, I get that you're busy, but we've got a major problem on our hands. Since you want to blame someone, blame yourself because it's your actions that landed the two of us where we are now. Alright, you're absolutely right, Udell. I'm sorry. You have no idea how sorry I am. At least that's something we can agree with, because I sure have no idea how sorry you even are. In the meantime, let's continue to find common ground as long as Yvette lives under my roof. But how would a smear campaign hurt Clarice? The smear campaign needs to bring up Heidi's past infidelity, bringing public shame to the Russos again. Clarice ain't gonna like it. She'll get upset with Heidi, and Gianni won't like that his mother is giving the woman he loves problems. Thanks for your time though, Sean. Wade, I get that you're busy, but we've got a major problem on our hands. What's this issue you seem to be having, Sean? It's about Danny Clark. May I remind you that the girl wouldn't be an issue if you had just followed the rules? Can you just listen, Wade? Someone is questioning me about her passing. I really wish you would have shared information with me when we spoke on the phone, Ben. I've been eager to find out how your meeting with Sean went. I've got a smear campaign against D.A. Russo that's ready to be seen by the public, Owen. Already? I was just hoping that I'd reach out to the community first before any ads were made. Valley Park needs to remember what sort of district attorney it has. Once they get the reminder, you can show the public what sort of district attorney they'll have in you. How does that sound? That's fine, Mr. Torres. I trust your judgment. Please tell me, did you keep your mouth shut when this person approached you? Don't worry, Wade. He doesn't know that Danny ever worked at the parlor. I got the guy to leave so that he wouldn't get a chance to speak with any of the other workers. Was it the police? No, he said he was a PI. What PI? He told me that his name was Ben Russo. Sadly, I couldn't get any answers from Sean Apina at all. In fact, he denied ever seeing Danny. Did you even attempt to speak with the workers there? That would have been too much of a risk, Quinlan. Sean wanted me gone the moment he knew I was sniffing around. Do you plan to go back there, Ben? There are workers who are working at that place against their own will. What's worse is that they might be young girls just like Danny. Hey, Viv. Just so you know, ADA Grant agreed for the smear campaign to be released. That's perfect. Soon enough, Clarice will be scrambling to get her family together for Christmas. Don't take this the wrong way, but is it necessary to torture Clarice in order for the plan to work? Or is causing the lady pain your way of feeling better after all of the pain she's caused you? Please don't walk away from me, Wanda. We have nothing to say. I think we have a lot to talk about. We said all we needed to say on Black Friday, Owen. At least you're not denying that you and I slept together. Keep your voice down. Don't you ever mention that ever again. Ben Russo? He's looking into Danny's case? You know him? I know of him. Come on, stupid. Russo. His grandfather Lorenzo is the head of Russo Jewelers. Ben's mother is also the district attorney. Most of all, Ben took out Adaku Danjuma last May and saved Quinlan Franklin's life. That's right. I didn't even think about all of that. Can't say that I'm surprised, Sean. He claimed that Danny's mom hired him to look into Danny's case. Please tell me that you didn't buy that crap. I didn't believe him, Wade. Do you think D.A. Russo hired him instead? If anyone wanted Ben to look into Danny's case, I would point the finger at his little girlfriend, Quinlan. What do you want me to do, Quinlan? Knock the door down with a gun and free everyone who works there? You sure would be hailed as a hero. I get that the workers there are being held captive, but they're also being held captive psychologically, which is why we can play this smart, Ben. It only takes one victim to speak out and tear the whole operation down. If you ask me, Clarice got what she deserved when she signed over the majority of her Russo Jewelers shares to me. I get that you need to crumble Russo Jewelers so that you can obtain it, but you're also crumbling that woman's family, which needs to happen in order for me to take over the company. You already know this, Pacho. Don't get me wrong. I don't care what happens when the Russo dynasty falls. I just want you to keep your eye on the prize and make sure that Russo Jewelers soars when you're in charge. I don't want to just discard of you after what you and I shared. That's fine, Owen. I'll just discard of you then. Do you actually think that little of me? Why shouldn't I? Because you think so little of my marriage. What happened between us wasn't forced. Besides, don't you think that Udell thinks little of your marriage, Wanda? Do you think he even cares that he's married to you at this point? And you took advantage of my fractured marriage. Congratulations, Owen. You got exactly what you wanted. You're wrong. If I got exactly what I wanted, then you wouldn't be going back to Udell every night. Quinlan Franklin stopped by to speak with you a while ago, didn't she? Do you think that she figured out that Danny was seen near the parlor? I don't know, but I'm going to get all of the answers I need. Slow down, Quinlan. When dealing with a situation like this, we need to take it one step at a time. Before focusing on taking down the opinion organization, we need to find out who took Danny's life. Except every person we needed to speak to has something to hide, and it's hard to pinpoint a specific suspect. Just focus on speaking about Danny's case on your program. Once the nation finds out about it, then it will force certain people to speak up. Why would you even ask me that, Pacho? You should already know that succeeding as CEO of Russo Jewelers, my birthright, is my main priority. I'm not doubting you, Viv. I'm just hoping that you don't let personal feelings get in the way as you take a position that you've never had before. All I want to do is make sure that all the power, which will be a lot, won't get to your head. It won't. Believe me, once I get the power, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to keep it. I'm not gonna leave the husband who I love for you. Do you think Udell loves you the same way, Wanda? Do you think he still loves you at all? That is something for me and my husband to figure out while you figure out things with your sorry excuse of a husband. I'll be staying the night. You're more than welcome to pay me a visit in my room. Follow my lead and I can show you where my room is. If you want to go back home where you're looked down on and disrespected, I hope you have a good rest of your day. If you ask me, Clarice got what she deserved when she signed over the majority of her Russo Jewelers shares to me. I get that you need to crumble Russo Jewelers so that you can obtain it, but you're also crumbling that woman's family. But I'm worried that Owen will try and manipulate the emotions of this town just so that he could beat Heidi. Am I hearing you right, Shelly? Do you actually want to endorse Heidi? Do I need to remind you how difficult it will make for this family? The last thing I need is for you to deal with stress months before the baby's due date. If anyone wanted Ben to look into Danny's case, I would point the finger at his little girlfriend, Quinlan. D.A. Russo, this sure is a surprise. Cut the crap, Pacho. Excuse me? You knew that you'd receive a visit from me the second you put that ad out reminding the public of my previous sins. Don't stress over it, Mom. What do you mean, Gianni? Once the public seemed to have forgotten about your wife's betrayal, our family is plagued with scandal once again. The smear campaign ADA Grant put out is the last thing this family needs. You saw the smear campaign against Heidi, right? I did, but what do you expect, Shelley? The woman is running for re-election for district attorney. Elections are ugly. And this one is bound to grow even uglier, Jeremiah. I refuse to sit around and watch Owen use our children's pain and trauma as a weapon. All right, Shirley. You've been in a sour mood lately. Talk to me. What's going on? It's about the Russos. Have you decided to let Viv know that Lorenzo is her biological father? It's not that, Isaac, but Lorenzo's grandson. Both of his grandsons have been here. I told you, Isaac. Moving to this town, trouble is gonna find us. And I told you that the Russos can't hurt you anymore. Commissioner, glad I found you here. I need to have a chat. In times like these, we'll return after a word from our sponsor. We Kisses offers lasting hydration and moisturizing to keep your lips feeling soft and supple all day long. Until December 23rd, you can get 10% off for the 4-pack mint and green tea flavor with the promo TIMES. This can be a special treat for you or for a loved one this holiday season. I really don't see what you're mad at me for. You're the one who had the affair. And you decided to use my past mistake as a way to attack me. Did it not occur to you that you'd be attacked since you're running for re-election? Enlighten me, Pacho. What has my family ever done to you? For starters, your brother-in-law won't stop trying to seduce my mother. As for you, D.A. Russo, you failed to realize that something was wrong with Keith Burke the whole time you were sleeping with that monster's father. The smear campaign is a flop, Mom. No one in this town cares about what Heidi and Finnegan did anymore because it's old news. Just because your wife's infidelity is public knowledge doesn't mean we should be reminded of it. I hate to break it to you, but what Heidi did will be brought up throughout the entire campaign. Believe me, Mom, I don't like it either, but that's what happens in politics. Maybe Heidi should reconsider her run for re-election since it seems like her legacy as district attorney has been tarnished. I don't want this family to play an important role in town politics, Shelley. Throughout the year, I'd like to focus on our family's growth and the growth of this business, trusting God through it all. And that should be our priority, Jeremiah. But I don't have peace knowing that Owen Grant could become our next district attorney, which is why it's still important to vote next November. But we're also in a position where we could do more. Who is this, Isaac? My name is Wade Pena. It's a nice place you've got here, Miss Shirley. I'm glad that I can finally put a face to the name. What do you want? I'd like to let you know that I don't like anyone using unprofessional tactics to get answers. I never once interacted with Keith when I had an affair with Finnegan. Then you should have known that your lover wasn't an active father. It's clear that I'm not going to gain your support, so I don't owe you an explanation, Pacho. I'm going to focus on reaching out to those who will support me. Do what you can. In the meantime, Owen will be reaching out to people who are looking for a brand new start, since he doesn't have the disastrous track record that you have. Forget it, Mom. Heidi would never agree to that. Our family is falling apart, Gianni. The family needs to be Heidi's priority, and I'll keep this family together. I'm not too sure about that. What do you mean? It was your idea for me to take Dad's place in Russo Jewelers. But since you found out that Isidore knew the truth about Dante and Martina's passing, it gave you something to always hold against your brother. No, Shelley. There's nothing more we can do when it comes to this election, not when you just entered the second term of your pregnancy. You don't need to worry about stepping into the political sphere when we're praying for a strong and healthy baby. All we'll have to do is endorse Heidi, that's it. That's not it. Because the second we endorse Heidi, we'll face an attack. Even if we do get attacked, Jeremiah. When has the enemy ever prospered? You know that Owen was trying to use the pain we experienced from Keith's hands to draw him to his side. I don't want Owen to succeed by manipulating other people that way. What are you even talking about, Wade? Not long after we had our chat commissioner, my younger brother was met by private investigator Ben Russo. Shirley, get upstairs. Why does your wife need to leave? I would consider this to be a civil conversation. Well, I don't. And you're right, my wife doesn't need to go anywhere. You need to leave. Not until I get answers. I don't see how my track record has been disastrous since your father was convicted of taking my sister-in-law's life under my watch. Keith Burke stalked Vanessa Dorval and your son, but also took my younger sister's life under your watch, D.A. Russo. If I had all of the proper information about both of Keith's parents years ago, then your sister would still be living. What's that supposed to mean? Never mind that. Like you just mentioned, Pacho, Keith came after my son as well. He almost ended my son's life, and as DA, I'll be punishing him to the highest extent of the law. Isidore is a grown man, Mom. You shouldn't keep asking me to protect him. That's not what I'm asking of you, Gianni. It sure sounds like it. Isidore deserves whatever comes his way for making us believe a lie about Nona and Nono. On top of that, if he wasn't so driven to control Thierry for all of these years, Keith wouldn't have brought the gun to school, which almost ended Max's life. I never said I was condoning Isidore's actions. Maybe not, but I'm getting pretty sick of you wiping his tears every time he scrapes his knee. You two had something you wanted to tell me? We do. Spit it out then. After some consideration, Shelley and I have agreed we'll endorse you, Heidi. If you don't leave, I'll have you arrested for trespassing. All I'm asking for is honesty. I never even met Ben Russo Wade. I certainly never hired him to do anything that I'm capable of doing myself. Now go. Was it that hard? You two have a remarkable day. What was that all about? It seems like Quinlan Franklin just brought herself into a world of trouble. I never even met Ben Russo Wade. I certainly never hired him to do anything that I'm capable of doing myself. Now go. Was it that hard? You two have a remarkable day. What was that all about? It seems like Quinlan Franklin just brought herself into a world of trouble. Spit it out then. After some consideration, Shelley and I have agreed we'll endorse you, Heidi. While you figure out things with your sorry excuse of a husband, I'll be staying the night. You're more than welcome to pay me a visit in my room. Follow my lead and I can show you where my room is. If you want to go back home where you're looked down on and disrespected, I hope you have a good rest of your day. What is it that you have to talk with me about, Wanda? I can't allow our marriage to continue going the way it's going. And what do you want me to do about it? We should try and go to counseling. Are you upset with me for convincing you to endorse Heidi? No, Shelley. I'm not upset with you at all. Besides, it's not like you twisted my arm. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Dorval. Commissioner Pierce, can we make this quick? I have to make it to work. Do you think that having your own news program absolves you and your wealthy boyfriend from getting yourselves into trouble? What do you mean, Commissioner? It's obvious that you're an intelligent young woman, so please don't play dumb with me. Not when Wade Apina confronted me at my own home with my wife present. Come in. Why, thank you for being such a gentleman, Mr. Russo. What are you doing here? And I thought you were a gentleman. Don't you ask your visitors how they're doing and what you can help them with? Clearly, we can skip introductions. Can't say that I'm surprised by how rude you are since you've been causing issues with my family, Benedict. You want us to go counseling together? I'll pass. Why don't you want to go, Udell? It's obvious that our marriage is in deep trouble because couples who usually go counseling have issues stemming from both the husband and the wife. Oh, so I'm the only one who brings issues into our marriage? Bingo. Have you forgotten that you tend to wish that it was Elvira who took your last name and bore your child for all of these years instead of me? Why are you in my House ADA grant? I just found out that you endorsed Heidi Russo for district attorney. Exactly. So why does this concern you? Don't entertain him, Shelley. Owen, if you only want to discuss the election, then I suggest you get out. All I want to know is why you decided to endorse anyone at all if you weren't gonna endorse me. Did you not hear my husband? Besides, we don't owe you an explanation. What I will say is that bringing up the high school tragedy to win us over to your side left a bad taste in our mouths. Oh my goodness. Commissioner Pierce, I'm so sorry. Are you and your wife okay? My wife and I are good, by God's grace. Forgive me, but I still don't see how this has anything to do with me and Ben. Your boyfriend questioned Wade's younger brother Sean, and Wade wondered if I hired Ben. It's clear that you didn't, and my wife's diner wasn't shut up or vandalized. What do you think Wade will do when he finds out that you and Ben Russo are sniffing around his businesses? Your little brother came crying to you as if I were the schoolyard bully, huh? Can you not understand why Sean would be bothered by the fact that you questioned him about the passing of a 14-year-old girl? I don't see why. She was known to hang around that specific massage building. Why should your brother feel uncomfortable if he had nothing to do with Danny losing her life? I can't believe that we're arguing over this again. Neither can I, Udell. Neither can I, but I don't see you denying it. You want honesty? Fine then, Wanda. No, I never stopped loving Elvira. Did you stop caring about your best friend the second Devontae Torres sliced her up? You know that Elvira will always have a special place in my heart. She has a special place in your heart, yet you still seem jealous of her after she's been gone for all of these years. I've apologized for that. Correction, you were sorry that you offended us, not sorry for blaming Heidi for what Keith Burke did. Just to be clear, did you only endorse D.A. Russo just to keep me from becoming D.A.? You're not entitled to a reason as to why we offered her our endorsement. The two of you are making a terrible mistake. Wade hasn't approached me, Commissioner. I think I'll be okay. You think? Miss Franklin, you're aware of how dangerous the Opina family is. They don't have to approach you in a kind and decent manner. Well, I haven't found anything incriminating against that family either, so I haven't given them a reason to target me. Yes, you have. You and Ben Russo are targets, as long as you continue to stick your nose into Danny Clark's case. Are you suggesting that my brother did something to Danny Clark? Do you think he hurt that girl, Wade? My family is a law-abiding family. I'm no longer in the police force. There's no reason for you to lie in my face like that. That makes it sound like you won't stop looking into my family. Like I told Sean, all I'm trying to do is find the truth about Danny Clark's passing. If you and your family had nothing to do with it, then you shouldn't be worried. Haven't we already been through this, Udall? I'm not jealous of Elvira. And you continue to deny it. You were clearly jealous of her then. It's also clear that her cheating on me with Devontae was the best thing that happened to you. What's funny is that you didn't really do a much better job loving me than Elvira did. I'm not gonna allow a counselor to endure the stress of listening to our toxic marriage. I know you're not threatening my family. I'm not, Mr. Dorval, but it seems like you tend to make assumptions. That's it. Get out of here, Owen. Do you regret your decision, Jeremiah? After what just happened, Owen proved that he's not fit to be district attorney. I'm a reporter, Commissioner Pierce. I'm not going to keep my nose out of Danny's case. Don't try to make it out as if I'm forbidding you from doing your research. We both know that you're digging way too deep into this situation. You and Ben are getting in too deep where it's going to be extremely difficult to protect you both. Ben and I don't need your protection. The two of us can handle ourselves. You two are Valley Park citizens, Miss Franklin. Like you, I take my job extremely seriously. You might feel like you don't need my protection, but I made a vow to protect as many residents as humanly possible. Stay out of trouble. You have some commendable qualities, Benedict. You're a bold guy. I like that. Why should I be afraid? Because it's a scary world. You know that firsthand since you found your late aunt's bloody body laid across your living room floor. I don't want you to have to get yourself hurt because you couldn't watch your step. Why should I be afraid? Because it's a scary world. You know that firsthand since you found your late aunt's bloody body laid across your living room floor. I don't want you to have to get yourself hurt because you couldn't watch your step. It's been almost 3 full months since that day, Max. When are you gonna stop blaming yourself? You know that I don't blame you. Ulissa wouldn't want you to blame yourself either. I never said I was condoning Isidor's actions. Maybe not, but I'm getting pretty sick of you wiping his tears every time he scrapes his knee. So Commissioner Pierce met with me the other day in my apartment and he wasn't happy. What did he have to talk with you about, Quinlan? He informed me that Wade Apina confronted him at his home. Sounds like the commissioner and I have something in common. Wade confronted me the other day in my office. Did you handle Ben Russo, Wade? I spoke with him. Just spoke with him? Why didn't you make the guy disappear? I'm glad that your parents are helping out my mom with this election. Just to be clear, Max, it doesn't seem like my parents are ecstatic about it. They only endorsed your mom because they felt like it was the right thing to do. Don't get it twisted, Max. Just because my parents endorsed your mom doesn't mean everyone in my family does. Did you make any progress with getting Isidor's shares, Vivian? It's still a struggle, but a promise is a promise. You'll be the next CEO before the year ends. Besides, you've got this, Gianni. Most of the family will be on your side anyway. I'm not too sure if my mother will be on my side like I initially assumed. Did he threaten you, Ben? I wouldn't call it a direct threat. What is that supposed to mean? Don't worry about it, Quinlan. I'm certainly not worried. He still threatened you, though. What are we supposed to do now? Wade only confronted me because his little brother Sean came running to him about me questioning the guy. But it's clear to me that Wade is trying to protect his brother or organization because he knows what happened to Danny. And since we're looking into our case, that makes us targets, which means that we need to move slowly and carefully. Don't question my actions, Sean. I have every right to question you because Ben Russo and Quinlan Franklin will continue to look into our family. Ben has no desire to take down this family. All he wants to do is solve Danny's case. What's the difference? You didn't take Danny's life, right? Why would you be worried? Neither of you will be old enough to vote by November anyways, so your opinions don't really matter. Mom and Dad made up their minds and that's it. Does that mean you're gonna vote for the lady on election day, Vanessa? Did you forget that she hopped in bed with Key's dad? Your issue is with me, not my mom, so I suggest you two leave her out of it. What's going on between you and your mom? Despite finding out on Thanksgiving that Isidore shouldn't be trusted, she still has a soft spot for him. To be fair, Isidore is still her son. On top of that, you still never told me what Isidore did. All that matters is that my mother will always come to Isidore's defense. How exactly do you think we should move slowly and carefully, Ben? We need to steer clear of the Apina family, be cautious with any new information we find, and to only share with the public about solid information and not insinuate any theories. I understand that we need to take precautions, but what about the workers in the parlor? Not that I don't care about them, Quinlan, but we're no help to those workers if you and I are no longer living. I didn't take Danny's life, but that doesn't stop Ben Russo from trying to pin it all on me. After speaking with the guy, I don't think you have to worry about him being corrupt, especially since he's not a cop. How are you so sure? Because I have good judgment? And you need to trust it, since Dad trusted my judgment when he was alive. So you want to bring up Dad now? Do you think Dad would spare someone who was a threat to this family? Didn't I make it clear to you that you don't get to tell me what to do, Max? What's it gonna take for you two to stop trying to keep Max and I apart? You've already made it clear that you don't want to leave him, which means that you'll just have to accept what comes with it. Listen to me, and listen to me clearly. You two are not gonna make Vanessa's life miserable while I'm with her. Are you sure that you're not speaking out of emotion? My brother decided to try and stage a hostile takeover of this company when he found out about my father's condition instead of making sure that my father got help. Even if my mother finds that out, she would still coddle him. To be fair, you haven't gotten your father help either, Gianni. I will once I become CEO. You are on my side, Vivian, aren't you? You're a private investigator, Ben. It gives you a certain advantage over the police force. I'm aware, Quinlan, and I get that you care about these victims, but my priority is to find out what happened to Danny and to keep you safe in the process. Just use your platform wisely, and those workers will be set free eventually. Don't you dare question me like that again. Here's the point I'm trying to make, Wade. Even though I didn't take Danny's life, I still hired her. I could go down if Ben Russo finds that out. Except none of the workers will speak to Ben if Ben or even the workers are to live. You'll be just fine, Sean. I won't let Quinlan Franklin or Ben Russo drag me down. I won't. Leave it alone, Max. Let me speak with them. Good luck. Uwe, what do you think he was about to do, Vanessa? What will it take for you to realize that Max is toxic? Does he have to push JJ again? I really hope not. I'm really hoping to exit my handicap era pretty soon. Max isn't gonna hurt JJ again. He won't hurt anyone. If he don't keep his temper in check, he might just surprise you, cousin. Of course I'm on your side, Gianni. Then trust my judgment when it comes to my mother. Alright, what are you gonna do about her? I'll continue to keep her out of the loop until I'm able to become CEO. I'm afraid that she'll just want me to share the company with Isidore. Does that mean you'll just have to convince her that you're fit to run Russo Jewelers all on your own? She initially expected me to take my father's place instead of Isidore. I don't feel like I need to do much convincing. Think about it, Isidore. If you had gone to the proper authorities, Keith would have never been born and Yulissa would most likely still be alive. Since you claim to care about Isabel, I would assume that you feel like she deserves to know the truth. Terry has left town, Harley. Isabel is still mourning her daughter, and it's not getting easier with Christmas just around the corner. I refuse to hurt her by sharing unnecessary information. Don't get it twisted, Max. Just because my parents endorsed your mom doesn't mean everyone in my family does. Does that mean you'll just have to convince her that you're fit to run Russo Jewelers all on your own? She initially expected me to take my father's place instead of Isidore. I don't feel like I need to do much convincing. I could go down if Ben Russo finds that out. Except none of the workers will speak to Ben if Ben or even the workers are to live. You'll be just fine, Sean. I won't let Quinlan Franklin or Ben Russo drag me down. I won't. Is there something that you two would like to share with us? Are you upset with JJ and I only because Vanessa's complaining again, when we're only trying to look out for her? Jeremiah and I are upset because you and JJ seem to have some opinions about us endorsing Heidi. We'd like to give you two the opportunity to express your criticism, Dee. You must be having some serious Christmas cheer for you to be this happy, Isidore. You can say that, because before the end of the year, my life is going to change for the better. I did it, Pacho. I finally turned Clarice's sons against her. Does this mean you'll go after Isidore's shares now that Clarice is public enemy #1 in the household? The whole household ain't against Clarice yet. I gotta make sure that Lorenzo and his wife ain't on good terms before I inform him that I'm not only the new CEO of Russo Jewelers, but I'm also his daughter. Hello, Miss Franklin. I'm glad that I get to approach you this time around. Shelly, if I'm being honest, I really wish you and Jeremiah would have spoken with the whole family before y'all decided to endorse D.A. Russo. Jeremiah and I are adults, Dee. We don't have to discuss anything with you or our children when making adult decisions. But D.A. Russo had an affair with Commissioner Burke, the same guy who tried to keep Keith from being punished for his actions. What's this new change that you're gonna experience? I really wish that I could tell you, Isabel, but I need to keep it a surprise. Why do I feel like this new change involves you hurting other people? It's really not like that. Sure, people will have their feelings hurt, but my goal isn't to hurt anyone. I find that hard to believe, Isidore. But didn't you tell me that Clarice urged Gianni to take Lorenzo's place? Doesn't that prove to you that Lorenzo and Clarice are having marital issues, Viv? I'm living proof that they've experienced serious marital problems in the past. Clearly, Clarice ain't upset Lorenzo enough for him to find comfort in another woman's arms. Let me try and make sense of this. I know for sure that you won't fill Lorenzo in on Gianni believing that he's taking over Russo Jewelers. How do you plan to make Lorenzo mistrust Clarice? I'm gonna ask Lorenzo when he'll be ready to retire. Shauna Pena, you and I never met before. So what do you mean by this time around? I'm not gonna play any games with you, Quillen. We both know you've wanted to meet with me since you sent your little boyfriend to question me. I didn't send Ben to do anything. And if you're so upset with Ben, then why don't you confront him? Because you can relay the message. No, Sean, you don't want me to do that at all. Shelly and I don't condone Heidi's actions. Don't you think the town might think we condone it, since y'all are endorsing the lady? ADA Grant isn't a better option either. He is not a good man at all. Maybe he isn't, but why should D.A. Russo keep her position after everything that happened while she's been district attorney? JJ, I'm not done talking with you. Why do you always seem to interrupt my private conversations, Harley? Why can't you seem to leave poor Isabel alone? Don't refer to me as that, Harley. Not while I'm running this hotel. As a matter of fact, I'm getting quite annoyed with you as well. When I'm only trying to look out for you? Tell her, Isidore. Explain how important it is for women to look out for each other, especially when it comes to a man like you. Wouldn't Lorenzo get mad at you rather than getting mad at Clarice? Nah, Pacho. I'm certain that Clarice already told Lorenzo how he should retire before she spoke with Gianni about taking over the company. He's gonna get sick of his wife the moment I mention retirement, and he's gonna vent to me. Since you don't have Lorenzo's shares like everyone else believes, is this your way of getting him to vote in your favor once you get Isidore's shares? I thought I was clear with you before. I ain't trying to take that chance. What did you just say to me? From what I understand, real men confront those who disrespect them. Real men don't run to their older brothers to fight their battles, and they sure don't confront the girlfriend of the man who disrespects them. Don't you talk down to me. What are you gonna do about it? How do you feel, Dee? Do you blame D.A. Russo for the mess that has been made in this town? Or are you just tagging along with JJ's bitterness and pain to keep Max away from Vanessa? JJ told me all I needed to know about D.A. Russo and her role as district attorney. Endorsing her ain't a good look for this family. Dee, you're my cousin and I love you. But you don't get to make that call. Most of all, if you're so concerned about this family, then you want to be doing things that would tear this family apart. I apologize for Harley, Isabel. Despite me divorcing her and with Alan becoming a legal adult, she still seems to be a pain to my side. Excuse us. What are you playing at, Harley? I'm not the one playing games, Isidore. You seem to be doing that yourself, since you're interacting with Isabel while keeping a serious secret from her. Why does it even concern you? I'll gladly tell you why. If you had just turned Terry in for taking your grandfather's life, then she wouldn't have had the chance to store Finnegan away, making me wonder if he's still alive. That's what this is all about? You're miserable without your sorry excuse of a boyfriend? So you want me to be miserable too? Don't judge me. I'm not doing anything different than you'd be doing. Why are you trying to create a drift between Lorenzo and Clarice if you're after his shares anyways? Cause the Russo dynasty has got to fall so that none of them will be concerned about what I'm doing. Clarice already thinks I'm gonna leave town with most of her shares. I need her to try and fix her ratchet family before she tries to mess me up. Alright, I understand that. I also get how you're going to get Isidor's shares, but how do you plan to get Lorenzo's? We'll discuss that once I get Isidor to sign his shares over to me, Pacho. What am I gonna do about it? I'm on Apina. Remember? I haven't forgotten. But seeing you in person, it's clear that Wade is not only the brains of the family, but he's also the bronze. So are you gonna send your big brother to intimidate me where you failed? If you continue looking into things above your pay grade, then you'll find yourself in big trouble. It seems to me that you're the one who's gonna be in trouble if I discover some specific information. Unless you'd like to show up on my program and clear up any misconceptions I might have, since Danny Clark was constantly seen outside of your massage parlor. I'm not playing with you. Neither am I, Sean. You have a nice day. If you had just turned Terry in for taking your grandfather's life, then she wouldn't have had the chance to store Finnegan away, making me wonder if he's still alive. That's what this is all about? You're miserable without your sorry excuse of a boyfriend? So you want me to be miserable too? Don't judge me. I'm not doing anything different than you'd be doing. It's also clear that her cheating on me with Devontae was the best thing that happened to you. What's funny is that you didn't really do a much better job loving me than Elvira did. I'm not gonna allow a counselor to endure the stress of listening to our toxic marriage. I'm not playing with you. Neither am I, Sean. You have a nice day. Danny's case sure is getting a lot of attention after you covered it the other day. That was the plan, Ben. And I thought that the plan was for us to look into the matter together. It is. Then how come you didn't tell me that you'd be mentioning the opinions in your program, Quinlan? Would you like to explain yourself? What are you talking about, Wade? How come your name is plastered all over social media in relation to Danny Clark's case? I hope you know that you deserve coal for Christmas. Too bad you never let me believe in Santa Claus, Dad. I haven't cared about being on the naughty or nice list for quite a long time. I'm referring to your mother. Why did you tell Harley that Terry took my Nono's life and that I've been blackmailing her for what she did? What's wrong, Wanda? I'm sure that you'd be happy to know that I'm mourning over the fact that my marriage is completely destroyed. In times like these, we'll return after a word from our sponsor. We Kisses offers lasting hydration and moisturizing to keep your lips feeling soft and supple all day long. Until December 23rd, you can get 10% off for the 4-pack mint and green tea flavor with the promo TIMES. This can be a special treat for you or for a loved one this holiday season. Believe it or not, Ben, I didn't expect to mention the opinions on my program the other day. How does that even make any sense? You literally said on national television that you reached out to Sean Apina, Danny's mother, and her boyfriend Brandon, and how they didn't want to comment. Clearly, you're making more enemies on top of making an enemy out of the Apina family. I'm not concerned about Miss Clark or her mean boyfriend, but I'll admit that I should have been more clear about Sean. I didn't reach out to him. In fact, he reached out to me. I guess I should have kept my phone on last night. You think? And if Quinlan reached out to you, then why didn't you let me know? Most of all, why didn't you get a lawyer involved? Because if she didn't reach out to you, then we can get a lawyer to file a lawsuit. Quinlan wasn't completely dishonest, Wade. What's that supposed to mean? I confronted her outside of her apartment. And you're asking me this weeks after Thanksgiving? I've been occupied, Alan. Now answer my question. Mom always told me that I could tell her anything. Cut the crap. It's clear that you told your mother what I've done so that you could get her to blackmail me. Don't feel bad, Wanda. You're not as guilty as Udell tries to make you feel. Udell never cheated on me. Do you think that would be true if Elvira hadn't lost her life? You know what, Owen? I'm getting really tired of theorizing whether my life would have been better or worse if Elvira had lived. Why are you now just telling me that Sean confronted you? I didn't have time then. I had to get to the station. And you don't think that Sean will pay you another visit? Sean is the spoiled Apina sibling. He expects people to do his dirty work for him. I don't think I have to worry about him hurting me at all. Even if he doesn't get his own hands dirty, Sean still has wealth and power, Quinlan. That still makes him dangerous. How many brain cells have you lost, Sean? Why would you do something like that? Most of all, why would you do something like that without coming to me first? I was trying to intimidate Quinlan so that she'd stop digging into Danny's case. Clearly, you failed at playing the part of the boogeyman. Since she didn't buy your bluff, she's got all of America eyeing our family. Then why didn't you just handle her or Ben Russo like I suggested? Wait, because you're not the head of the family. I am. I think Mom would disagree. You don't want to hear from Mom, Sean, because I just received a call from her and she's clearly not happy. Our responsibility was to smoothly run this organization and allow her to enjoy a peaceful retirement out of town, not letting her be worried about the messes you make where I have to clean them up for you. Good, you're both here. What reason would Mom have to blackmail you, Dad? As if you haven't noticed how miserable she's been ever since Finnegan's brains were pretty much blown out by his son. What's your point? Your mother is lonely, Ellen, and she wants to make sure that I join the club. Forgive me, Dad. I left my tiny violin up in my room. Did you actually believe that you'd have a future with Isabel when you're keeping secrets from the lady? I'm sorry, Wanda. I didn't mean to upset you even more. Please, you want me to be vulnerable, Owen. My vulnerability is what landed me in your bed for the third time. To be specific, you've only been in my bed twice. The last time you and I shared a bed was at Theodosius' palace. And you claim that you don't want to upset me? Sorry, I was actually trying to cheer you up. Save it. Nothing can cheer me up since my family will be destroyed sooner than I think. You're worrying over nothing, Ben. Sean's not gonna do anything without Wade's permission. And you think that Sean asked for Wade's permission to try and intimidate you the other day? That's all it was. Sean was only trying to scare me and it backfired on him. To be honest, I think Wade is more upset with his little brother than he is with me. For your sake, Quinlan, I really hope that's true. Commissioner Pierce, this really isn't a good time. I suggest you make time, Wade. I need to speak with Sean at the station. Aren't you supposed to have a warrant if you want to arrest my brother? Sean's not under arrest. As you both know, new details of Danny Clark's case has come to light. We'd like to clear some things up. Fine, but Sean's not speaking with you without a lawyer, Commissioner. What Terry did doesn't concern Isabel. Keep lying to yourself, Dad, which is why I think you told your mother on purpose. You haven't gotten over the fact that I played a hand in ending your silly affair with her. I've got better ways of getting back at you. And what's that supposed to mean? Just focus on convincing Mom not to expose your secret, Dad. I sure won't convince her. You're not gonna lose your daughter to Udell, if that's what you're worried about. It wouldn't be much of a fight. When Yvette finds out what I've done, she'd want to be with Udell. I'm not going to share a word about us with Udell or anyone else. You have my word, Wanda. Owen, open up. I need to have a word with you. I'm not going to share a word about us with Udell or anyone else. You have my word, Wanda. Owen, open up. I need to have a word with you. Listen to me and listen to me clearly. You two are not gonna make Vanessa's life miserable while I'm with her. I also get how you're going to get Isidor's shares, but how do you plan to get Lorenzo's? We'll discuss that once I get Isidor to sign his shares over to me, Pacho. I'm really gonna miss working here when the year is over, Mr. Russo. Working at Russo Jewelers has been more rewarding than I thought. It's definitely been a pleasure having you here, Vivian. And don't you worry, you'll be rewarded greatly for your work here. Thank you. And for as long as you've been leading this company, I'm sure your family has something special planned for you when you retire. Do you think your retirement will be anytime soon? Owen, I need to speak with you man to man. Open up. Do you think Udell knows that I'm here? I think he'd do worse than knock if he did. Go into the room, Wanda. I'll get rid of him quickly. What do you want, Udell? What can I do for you, Jeremiah? I'd like for you to explain to me why I should continue to endorse you when it seems to be tearing my family apart. Why do you got such a long face, Vanessa? Don't tell me Dee Dee and JJ are still complaining over your parents endorsing my mom. It's not my cousin and my brother who are only causing me grief. Your anger is concerning me, Max. Did I say something to upset you, Mr. Russo? If I did, I'm really sorry. The last thing I want to do is offend you. You mentioned the word retirement. Lately, I've been hearing how that's what I'm supposed to be doing at this point in my life. Is it fair to say that Mrs. Russo is advising you to retire? Do you agree with her suggestion, Vivian? As you know, I'm endorsing D.A. Russo. Not something I would commend you on, but I don't expect you to make a lot of right choices. Anyways, I noticed your latest smear campaign against her. Since I'm endorsing her, I want to make sure that you don't make a smear campaign against my family. You don't have to worry about me sharing with Valley Park that your so-called perfect marriage isn't as perfect as everyone believes. I never once claimed that my marriage to Wanda was perfect. Besides, I know for sure you won't take a jab at my marriage, since it will only make you look bad, since you had a hand in desecrating it. How exactly is the endorsement hurting your family, Jeremiah? The kids are going back and forth about it. I'd like for my family to find peace during Christmas. But my kids also have a point. What point has been made? You can't erase the fact that you had an affair with a man like Finnegan, especially since that man tried to keep his son from paying for terrorizing my daughter. I don't get it, Vanessa. Do I not have a right to feel angry that your cousin and your younger brother are teaming up against us? It's okay to be angry, Max, but it doesn't give you an excuse to prove Dee Dee and JJ right. I'm not trying to prove them right. I never hurt you, you know that. Of course, I know that. But the fact is that you did hurt JJ, and you expressed your desire to rip your cousin Alan's head off. I don't think you're unfit to run this company, Mr. Russo. This company has been successful for as long as you've been in charge, which has been for a very long time. I was only asking you about retirement because I was wondering if you were ready to relieve yourself of all of the responsibilities and enjoy the rest of your life. There's only one issue, Vivian. If I do retire, I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. Most retired people go on cruises and sleep in. In your case, Gianni and Isidore can take over while you relax. Except I'm unsure if either of my sons currently have the maturity level to run the company at the moment. Since you have confidence that I won't use your fractured marriage as a way to win the campaign, then what are you so worried about, Udell? I'm worried that you'll bring up the fact that my daughter lied about what Max Russo did to her. I'm not the heartless monster you think I am. You're the one who prosecuted Yvette and ensured that she complete community service hours rather than spend time in prison. Are you telling me that you won't make yourself seem like some sort of merciful hero? There are plenty of ways that I can win this campaign. Using your daughter isn't one of them. It better not be, because if you do, Owen, then I'm coming after you. Were you telling Udell the truth? I don't think I need to remind you that Keith not only terrorized Max, but also took my son's life. Just to be clear, I'm not trying to compare how that monster hurt both of our kids. Besides, I already ended my affair with Finnegan by that point. Even though you did end it, I'm a born-again Christian, Heidi. I'm beginning to wonder if it would be a bad testimony if I continue to endorse you, since you were unfaithful to your husband. My affair brought shame to my family, Jeremiah, but I'm trying to make up for my mistakes. If you and Shelley continue to endorse me, I feel like that would encourage Valley Park to give me a second chance. It was an accident. Come on now, Max. It's not like you bumped into JJ and he just happened to fall. You pushed my brother because you couldn't control yourself. On top of that, you don't even seem sorry for almost tearing Alan apart. Alan sure didn't apologize for the things that he did. Alan's not a Christian, Max. You are. And you weren't around when JJ and Alan provoked me. That's right. But I'm worried about being present the next time you lash out at someone out of anger. I'm worried about how my view of you will change. But Gianni is almost 50 and Isidore is in his 40s. How are neither of them mature enough to run things yet? I'd like to spare you of my family's complexities, Vivian. Well, I hope you're still not upset about me bringing up retirement. As for Mrs. Russo, I hope you go easy on her. I'm sure she meant well. Unfortunately, my wife allowed her fears to keep her from seeing what you see. I did tell Udell the truth. I love you way too much to do anything that would hurt your daughter, Wanda. You don't love me, Owen. Not really. Not when having me in your apartment, in your bed, would hurt her. But she doesn't know, and she won't find out from me. In this moment, I want you to know that I'll always be here for you, even when you're ready to leave Udell. All right, Heidi, I'll continue to endorse you. Thank you so much, Jeremiah. I promise that you and Shelley won't regret it. We better not, especially since none of us know what Owen has up his sleeve. What exactly are you trying to say, Vanessa? When we got together, even though I was reluctant, you were kind, outgoing, and level-headed. After what Keith did that day, something began to change in you. Max, you became darker. Did you expect me to be the same sort of person? Did you expect anyone in the school to be the same sort of person after what Keith did? Of course, I knew our lives wouldn't be the same, but I hope that what happened doesn't take away the good qualities you still have. Even though JJ and I might not get along at the moment, the two of us can agree on one thing. I think you should sit this one out, Vanessa, especially since you still haven't forgiven Keith for what he's done. But D.A. Russo had an affair with Commissioner Burt, the same guy who tried to keep Keith from being punished for his actions. Then why didn't you just handle her or Ben Russo like I suggested? Wait, because you're not the head of the family. I am. As for Mrs. Russo, I hope you go easy on her. I'm sure she meant well. Unfortunately, my wife allowed her fears to keep her from seeing what you see. I really can't wait to meet your daughter, Shirley. Will she be coming to church? Since I gave my life to Jesus later on in life, church wasn't really something that Vivian found herself interested in. But you never give up on your kids, and I pray for my baby girl every day. Shirley and I really do hope that you two enjoy your Christmas, especially since it seems like 2025 will be an intense year with you endorsing D.A. Russo. I'm glad that you're reaching out to potential voters at Christmas events, Owen. With the smear campaign that was made against D.A. Russo, I really need Valley Park to understand that I didn't do it to be malicious, but to remind them that they have a better option. Since you mentioned Heidi, what do you plan to do about the Dorvals since they endorsed her? What did you need to say to me that you claim is so urgent, Jackie? I would like to talk some sense into you since you're putting yourself in harm's way. You've been upset for quite a while, Lorenzo. Christmas is coming soon and I would really like for you to be in a better mood. Of course, Clarice. I wouldn't want to ruin Christmas for you. What's wrong? Isn't it clear? How am I supposed to enjoy the holiday when my own wife sees me as incapable? You're the police commissioner, Isaac. Are you saying that Heidi hasn't reached out to you for an endorsement? She hasn't. I assume that it's because I'm still pretty new to town and trying to gain the residents' trust. On top of that, our family ain't exactly wealthy either. To be honest with you, Shirley, gaining influence has grown to be quite a burden. Don't get us wrong. We thank God for blessing us with what we have now, but the issues that we face is a huge reminder that money doesn't fix all of our problems. It doesn't seem like you and Shelley are ecstatic about endorsing D.A. Russo. Is it even worth it to vote for her, Jeremiah? To my knowledge, Vanessa Dorval was friends with your younger sister. Because of that, I didn't think that you'd want me to go against the Dorvals. That family isn't problematic, which gives Heidi an advantage for the election. Are you suggesting that I find dirt on their Dorvals? You're overreacting. Oh, so you know me better than I know myself, Quinlan? Because I know for sure that I ain't overreacting. Not when we both know how dangerous the Apina family is. It's not like I even publicly spoke against them. You mentioned them on national TV, and you don't think they're gonna see that as an attack? How do you think your mama's gonna react when she hears about this? I don't think that you're incapable, Lorenzo. You make that very hard to believe. Is it a crime for me to want my husband to finally find peace and relaxation after decades of pouring your life into your father's company? You know that the moment I retire, I'll become powerless, Clarice. Lorenzo, you're so much more than Russo Jewelers. Why can't you see that? And why do you insist on lying to yourself? You're right, Isaac. Shelley and I aren't exactly excited to endorse Heidi at all. But Owen Grant isn't fit to become the next district attorney. How come? When he came to us for an endorsement, he tried to make it as if Heidi were to blame for the tragedy that occurred at the high school. He wasn't even sensitive to the fact that Vanessa could have lost her life that day and that she lost her best friend. And Vanessa's best friend was Yulissa Torres. That's right. Heidi definitely has her flaws, but Owen has proven himself to be a manipulator who doesn't deserve to take Heidi's place. To be honest, Owen, you don't have to dig deep to find any dirt on the Dorvals. What do you mean? Have you forgotten that JJ Dorval wounded my father with a gun months ago? But that was done in self-defense, Pacho. The heart of the matter is that JJ has a mental illness, and he shouldn't have gotten anywhere near a weapon. Are you asking me to use Jeremiah and Shelley's son as a weapon against them? I couldn't care less about what my mother thinks, Jackie. When you and I reconnected, you begged me not to let your mama know. Now you're asking me to lie if she asked me about the trouble you're getting yourself into with your newfound fame. My goal isn't to hurt my mother or anyone else. All that matters to me right now is finding out what exactly happened to your daughter's best friend. Quinlan Franklin, I've been hearing that you've been hanging around here lately. I'm not lying to myself, nor am I lying to you either, Lorenzo. If you didn't believe that I was powerless, then you would have never once suggested that I retire. What breaks my heart is that other people don't see what you see. What are you talking about? Forget it, Clarice. You're not one to keep silent when there's something on your mind. Come on, Lorenzo. Let me hear it. I just find it ridiculous that you, my wife of over 50 years, is beginning to doubt me. But Vivian, an intern, doesn't believe that I should retire at all. My heart breaks over what your family has gone through. And knowing that the previous commissioner could have prevented it is what encouraged me to take on the job. Thank you both. I'm grateful that God brought you into our lives and that we're beginning to form a friendship. As for all of the crimes that Keith has done, we can trust that Heidi will make sure that he faces the punishment that he deserves. What concerns me is that our kids will have to relive the pain Keith put them through when his trial begins. You're involved in politics, Owen. People are gonna get hurt. The Dorvals knew that the moment they made a public endorsement, just like I did for you. They're gonna have to accept the consequences, just like I'll have to. I'm still not sure about this. Sit on it. I know that you'll make the right choice. You've been causing issues for me when you spoke about me on TV. Hold up. You can't just try to come into my salon and try to scare people off. Danny's brother Jaden got taken out of the house. Now Danny's mother is going through it. And I'm supposed to feel guilty? I'm relieved, Brandon. I've been to your house, remember? I hope that Jaden gets placed into a good home where he doesn't have to clean up empty liquor bottles. You're gonna get what's coming to you, girl. Get ready. See what I'm talking about? Keep doing what you're doing, then you might not live long enough to regret it. That man doesn't worry me one bit. I faced worse. Who are you, and what do you want? I'm someone who can help you make sure that your problems with Quinlan Franklin will fade away. That girl should have kept her thoughts to herself. Don't you dare get angry at Vivian. She was actually being an encouragement, Clarice. That girl isn't looking out for your best interest, Lorenzo. She never has. What are you even talking about? This thing between Nichelle and I will be fixed. Are you sure, Zeke? I'm sure. That girl should have kept her thoughts to herself. Don't you dare get angry at Vivian. She was actually being an encouragement, Clarice. That girl isn't looking out for your best interest, Lorenzo. She never has. What are you even talking about? Even though JJ and I might not get along at the moment, the two of us can agree on one thing. I think you should sit this one out, Vanessa. Especially since you still haven't forgiven Keith for what he's done. Max, you know that we can't keep avoiding our conversation from before. Yes, we can, Vanessa, because if we don't drop it now, then your cousin and your little brother will get exactly what they want. You're still not gonna cheer up, Yvette? Christmas is right around the corner and you've still been in a bad mood ever since your party on Black Friday. But I need you to stay strong for me, Alyssa. Just stay strong. Open your eyes for me. I need you to open your eyes. Nichelle, what you doing here? What's the deal with Heidi's shares, Vivian? The thing is that she won't sign them unless she gets proof that you signed your shares over to me. Don't be like that, Max. Not when Christmas is almost here. If we talk things out, then it can help make things better. Except it feels like you want me to ignore the fact that Dee Dee and JJ are trying to tear us apart. You're not wrong, because all they want is a reaction out of you. Did you not hear JJ the other day? He made it clear that he won't stop causing issues until he gets the two of us to leave each other, Vanessa. I'm fine, Dee Dee. Look, if I knew that you had Keith Burke at your summer party, then I wouldn't have pushed too hard. Keith is the last thing on my mind. I'd also appreciate it if you don't bring him up either. I won't. But what about Zeke? What about Zeke? Well, he went to check up on you at the party event. Did he say something to upset you? It's a school library, Zeke. Well, it's supposed to be a school library. There are plenty of reasons why I'd be in here. Yulissa lost her life in this library. Is this the first time you stepped in here since that day? As a matter of fact, it is. Whoever cleaned it up did a nice job. Almost like it never happened. Almost like my sister never even existed. That's surprising. I truly believe that Heidi would gladly sign her shares over to you and focus on her campaign. At the moment, it seems like Heidi is only concerned about securing Max's future in the company. Maximilian is my nephew. He'll always have a place here in Russo Jewelers. Besides, she's supposed to believe that Gianni will become the next CEO, and she wants to be 100% sure that her husband will be in charge. Isidore, you're one step closer to leading this company. All you need to do is sign over the shares to me. There's only one simple way to get Dee and JJ to back off, Max. The two of us gotta stand strong and not give them the satisfaction of seeing us break up. Except this right here is what your brother and your cousin want. Us having an argument. Which is why we should drop what we discussed the other day. No, we shouldn't. You told me that you don't think my opinion matters because I still haven't found a way to forgive Keith for everything he's done. What about you, Max? Have you forgiven Keith? Zeke didn't say anything to upset me, Dee. Then what did you two talk about at the party? I can't believe that you two actually get along. Why wouldn't I be friends with Yvette, JJ? Maybe because she's a liar and takes advantage of her so-called friends? That's all in the past now, cousin. I'll go, Dee. The last thing I want to do is make you argue with your cousin. It was good seeing you, JJ. Why do you gotta be such a jerk to her? Ain't nobody gonna forget you, Lissa. No one will ever forget your sister, Nichelle. Winter break is about to start soon. I wanted to see the place where I last heard Ulysses' voice to remind myself that she won't be with me this Christmas and when the new year comes. But you could just listen to recordings saved on your phone. Ulyssa ain't leave this earth peacefully. Why do you want to remember something like that? You're wrong, Zeke. I can't explain it, but I knew that she was passing away in peace. She was more worried about me than herself, remember? One step away? Vivian, you only have my father's, Gianni's, and Alan's shares. You still haven't gotten Heidi's shares. Benedict and Maximilian still have their shares, and I also need to get my mother to vote in my favor. Ben couldn't care less about the company. I could just encourage him to vote his shares to me, and he'll believe that it's in favor for his father without asking any further. And my mother? You've got this, Isidore. There's no doubt in my mind that you can convince her that you're the best fit to take over the company. I'm not too sure about that, Vivian. My mother has been pretty disappointed in me lately. Maybe, but you certainly don't have the sort of scandal that Gianni and Heidi were cursed with. You're gonna stand on top. Just trust yourself because I definitely trust that you've got this. Since you didn't forgive him, I think it's obvious that I haven't either. What if I did, Max? Would you agree to make sure that your temper doesn't get out of control? I'm gonna give you the time you need to forgive Keith. In return, I ask that you give me enough time to accept and figure out the man I'm becoming. Because here's the thing, Vanessa. I'm not gonna be the same sort of guy I was before Keith almost blew me to Kingdom Come. Literally. Vanessa and I told you everything that Yvette has done, Dee. Why would you want her to be your friend? We're already trying to convince Vanessa to drop Max. The Yvette you told me about ain't the Yvette I know, JJ. Besides, she seems sorry for what she's done. Max claims he's sorry for everything he's done, but you don't seem to care. Cause Max already proved to me that he ain't trying to change after he attacked you. And that ain't the sort of guy Vanessa needs to be close to. I know for sure that Vanessa will realize that too. Ulyssa was a born-again Christian. She believed she was gonna go to heaven after she passed away and wanted to make sure that you'd reunite with her someday. Are you asking me to convert to Christianity, Zeke? That's your call. It's very hard to serve a God who allowed my sister to be taken from me. You still got me, Nichelle. I love you, Zeke. Which is why if you ever hurt me again, I'll make sure you meet your maker. You have no idea how much that encouraged me, Vivian. I really appreciate it. What exactly are you trying to say, Isidore? What I'm trying to say is that I won't let my ego get in the way of me becoming CEO. I'll sign over the shares to appease Heidi. Besides, I can't wait to see the look on her face when she finds out you'll be signing her shares over to me. I'm really excited for you, Isidore. You won't regret this. You're gonna get what's coming to you, girl. Get ready. See what I'm talking about? Keep doing what you're doing, then you might not live long enough to regret it. That man doesn't worry me one bit. I faced worse. Who are you, and what do you want? I'm someone who can help you make sure that your problems with Quinlan Franklin will fade away. Your mother is lonely, Ellen, and she wants to make sure that I join the club. Forgive me, Dad. I left my tiny violin up in my room. Did you actually believe that you'd have a future with Isabel when you're keeping secrets from the lady? What I'm trying to say is that I won't let my ego get in the way of me becoming CEO. I'll sign over the shares to appease Heidi. Besides, I can't wait to see the look on her face when she finds out you'll be signing her shares over to me. I'm really excited for you, Isidore. You won't regret this. Merry Christmas Eve, Isabel. Who's that gift for, Isidore? Isn't it clear? It's for you. What do you mean you'll be late, Vivian? I'm still gonna come home for Christmas, Mama, but it's gonna be in the evening. I promise to explain everything later. Bye. I love you. Don't tell me that you're still upset with me, Wade. Why should I be upset, Sean? Don't you think I enjoy getting constant calls from reporters while I'm doing my best to make sure the mainstream media doesn't find out that the police question you about Danny Clark losing her life? Thanks for telling me about Shirley's Diner, Zeke. I've got to find time to bring Ben here. I told you that you like this place, Quinn, just like Nichelle did. You and Nichelle are good, right? Come out, Quinlan. Harley sure wouldn't be happy if she saw you handing me a Christmas gift. Forget about what makes her happy or not. Besides, my ex-wife is nowhere in sight, and you shouldn't have to worry about her popping up whenever we speak with each other. I don't know, Isidore. You really shouldn't have gotten this for me. I know that I didn't have to get you a gift, Isabel. Besides, I think the last time I got you something for Christmas was in the 90s, but I couldn't bring myself not to get you something after the year you had. Merry Christmas, Mrs. Russo. Hush. You came to my apartment and you think it's respectful to tell me what to do when I'm the one who pays rent here? Please. If anyone is paying rent here, it's me. I gave you the majority of my Russo Jewelers shares. What's worse is that you refuse to leave my family alone. Instead, you want to tear my family apart. Since I'm grown now, I'm gonna explain some things to you that my mama probably ain't get the chance to do. I'm the innocent party in all of this, Mrs. Russo. If your family's falling apart, then Lorenzo is to blame, and you're encouraging him to do so. You really shouldn't be concerned about any of this because Commissioner Pierce wasn't able to connect me to Danny's case. You should be concerned, Sean, because now we have to be extra careful with the way we run this business. The FBI has been eyeing this organization before we were even born, Wade. As you can see, it's still standing. We're in the public eye now, you moron. This gives the FBI the perfect opportunity to do everything they can to take us down. Nichelle and I are good, which means that Christmas is looking good this year. Does that mean you're no longer friends with that Dee Dee girl? Nichelle still don't like her, but she trusts me enough not to let Dee Dee be a problem for us. I hope not. So what exactly resolved your relationship issues anyways? The two of us are just glad to be alive after Keith almost took us out a few months ago. Alright, Essador. Since you went out of your way to get me this gift, then I'll receive it. Are there any conditions that come with it? The only condition I have is that you open it. You can even open it now. My curiosity is getting the best of me, but I'll open it later on today. Sounds good to me. I'd like to explain to you that the gift symbolizes that Yulissa and the child we could have had together will never be forgotten. I have no idea what you're talking about. Don't play dumb with me, girl. Don't try to pretend like you didn't try to poison Lorenzo against me the other day. Look, if you're referring to me encouraging him to remain as CEO, then I don't see how you'd be concerned that I'm trying to turn your husband against you. I don't believe a word that comes out of your diabolical mouth, you little spawn. I feel like you want my life to fall apart before you leave Valley Park. Stop being dramatic, Wade. What Quinlan Franklin did will blow over. Except it won't blow over like you think. Not when people are making TikToks about Danny Clark and mentioning our family. The content creators who discuss Danny Clark's case are nothing but bootleg detectives who feel like they're smarter than they actually are. Do you have no shame in knowing that you have allowed the entire world to look at us as public enemy number one? Wade, if you're so worried about what's currently going on, then you're probably not as fit to run this organization as you thought. How's Nichelle holding up? She's accepted the fact that she ain't never gonna spend another Christmas with Yulissa. The thing is that accepting it was the hardest thing she ever had to do. I get that. Sadly, Nichelle is gonna miss her younger sister more as each year passes. The fact that I had to keep that secret for so long, so many people say I shouldn't be ashamed of my decision, but it's a different feeling when it's a decision I never really wanted to make. Every Christmas would pain me. Do you mind if I ask how? After I decided to terminate my pregnancy, I'd always be reminded of the fact that there was one gift I should be wrapping for another child, and I chose Devante over that child. Even last year when Pacho wasn't in town and when Yulissa and Nichelle were getting along, I envisioned the girls chatting with their older brother or sister. Now that Yulissa is gone, it reminds me even more that all of my children will never be together for Christmas. I understand the feeling. In my case, I spent Christmas without you for over 20 years, Isabel. I really do hope that changes next year. Again, have a Merry Christmas. I ain't trying to destroy your life, Mrs. Russo. Like I told you before, I just wanted to know what my father was like. Lorenzo will never be a father to you. And you made sure of that when you kicked my mama out of town. Besides, if I wanted to ruin your life, Lorenzo would have been you, who I really am. I kept my end of the deal, and you better keep yours. In the meantime, keep yourself out of my family's affairs. Pacho, it's time. It's time to go after Lorenzo's shares. The only way he's gonna sign them over to you is if you inform him that you know he cheated on Clarice with my mama. If you don't want to lose all of your teeth, then I suggest you watch how you speak to me. Overall, things are only gonna get better from here, Wade. You better not be trying to make any more moves without my knowledge. Trust me, you'll definitely know about the next move I make. So what are you gonna get Nichelle for Christmas? What you think you're doing? Get back. This is between me and your sister. Don't point that gun at my sister. Zeke, not another word. Please put the gun down and let my brother go. I ain't going nowhere, Quinn. I don't want you involved in this. Sorry, but your brother had a chance to leave. Now he is involved, and I need to get this done today. I swear, if you hurt my sister, you ain't gonna see what's coming to you. Zeke, just go. I ain't going. 3, 2, 1. Zeke, please, no. It's time to go after Lorenzo's shares. The only way he's gonna sign them over to you is if you inform him that you know he cheated on Clarice with my mama. Because here's the thing, Vanessa. I'm not gonna be the same sort of guy I was before Keeve almost blew me to Kingdom Come. Literally. 3, 2, 1. Zeke, please, no. I know that we're spending Christmas Eve together, Mom, but I'd really like for you to stop by the estate for Christmas tomorrow. Are you sure about that, Alan? The holidays at the Russo estate hasn't exactly been merry. Maybe not for the estate, but it will definitely be for me. How so? It's a surprise. Alright, Pacho, you wanted to apologize for the smear campaign against Heidi and drop your endorsement of Owen Grant for district attorney? About that, I lied. Just like you're a liar, Lorenzo, and a cheat. Thanks for inviting us here to help with giving out the gifts to the kids in the hospital for Christmas Eve. Not only am I glad that I get to interact with the residents here, I'm also glad that I've got the opportunity to point them to Christ. It's really been a blessing that I'm allowed to keep doing this. At first, I experienced a stumbling block, but God showed himself faithful. Last year, Yulissa Torres gave her life to Christ, and I'm praying that souls will get saved this year. I'm honored that God allowed me to share his love with struggling families. No pun intended, but it seems like your family is struggling a bit since Vanessa and JJ don't seem too happy with each other. I don't see Max anywhere. Is he on his way, Vanessa? Zeke. It's okay, Quinlan. You and Zeke are gonna be okay. I wouldn't mind receiving a surprise from you, Alan, but you still haven't mentioned why it would benefit you, but not the rest of the Russos. All that matters is that you'd be proud of me, Mom. Since when did you care if the family is upset with me? I've always cared, Alan. I get that you're excited, but you're beginning to worry me. What have you done? What on earth are you talking about, Pacho? You know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't have time to play games with you. This isn't a game at all, Lorenzo. Does the name Shirley Jones ring a bell to you? Have you been speaking to that monster you call a father lately? Not at all. Your mother certainly wasn't with Isidore when Shirley was working for my family. So you do remember her. Explain something to me, Lorenzo. How come you slept with your cook behind your wife's back? Knock it off, JJ. You wouldn't care if Max would be here or not. I'm assuming that he's not coming at all. What's his excuse? Does he feel too important to minister to sick kids and their families? You're never satisfied, are you? Aren't you tired by now? Don't you get sick of finding the smallest thing you can give Max a hard time for? Quinlan, you need to tell me what's going on. Who was that guy? Give your sister some time to process all of this, Zeke. Time? Today reminded us that none of us got time. If you ain't show up, that guy would have wiped Quinlan and I out. So I want answers. You're right, Zeke. You deserve answers. Are you sure about this? Yes, Ben. I'll explain everything. Mom, don't you remember when you'd ship a present to the estate and told me that I should wait until Christmas morning to open them? Did your father and your grandmother allow you to open those gifts the night before? That's not the point. You wanted me to be surprised. Telling you what I've got in store for Christmas would ruin the surprise for you, Mom. This isn't a game, Alan. If I'm gonna protect you from the Russos' wrath, then you need to tell me what sort of scheme you've got cooked up. I'm 20 years old, remember? I'm more than capable of taking care of myself. As a matter of fact, I'm the one who should be concerned about you. You're not the parent. No, but we both know how Dad gets when he feels threatened. The other day, he told me that you've been blackmailing him with the information I gave you on Thanksgiving. Is that true, Mom? Are you blackmailing Dad? You have been, sadly, mistaken. Now who's the one playing games, Lorenzo? I already made it clear that I'm not. So to make sure that you understand how serious this is, I'd like to remind you that I run Global News Press. My stories can go on national TV, and the public can decide whether they believe your side of the story or not. Either way, I'm certain that public knowledge of your illicit affair would hurt Russo Jewelers and Heidi's campaign. Do you honestly want to take that chance? What do you want, Pacho? I'm glad you asked. Only if you wore a red hat and a fake beard, I'd feel so much relief telling you what I want for Christmas. Don't push it. Fine, alright. I'll tell you what I want. I want shares to Russo Jewelers. Half of what you have. You're just as crazy as your father if you think I would ever hand over shares to my company to you, especially that much. Drawing comparisons? Look, I don't condone my father cheating on my mother with your teenage daughter back in the early 2000s, but what's your excuse, Lorenzo? Not only did you sleep with the family cook, but she was old enough to be your daughter. In fact, she was younger than Gianni and Isidore. What do you even want with Russo Jewelers? Are you trying to take over my company? Sadly, I don't think your family would vote me in as CEO. In fact, they'd be the ones trying to take the company from you if they ever find out what you did. What I'm trying to do is broaden my horizons. Besides, I've already got 2 companies to worry about at the moment. What does that even mean? We can discuss that after Christmas. But I want the shares today, Lorenzo, because if you refuse to give me half, then you might no longer have a company or a family when your family and the whole world find out that you slept with Shirley Jones. The choice is yours. I know for sure that Max wouldn't avoid coming here just to avoid me. But I think he would show up because he's trying to avoid you, Vanessa. Is that the case? That's none of your business, JJ. Listen, I get that you and I haven't really been on good terms lately, but it's Christmas. You're my sister and I care about you. Don't think I'm trying to gloat over your relationship issues. I really just want to make sure that you're alright. Don't try to pretend like you care about what I'm going through. You two, your mother is getting ready to read to everyone. I need you two to represent Christ well and forget about whatever you two got going on. Est-ce que vous comprenez? Hold up. So Brandon threatened you at Jackie's salon? How come you ain't telling me that you got back in touch with Mom's best friend? Because you've been doing so well lately. I didn't want to give you a reason to visit the South Side often. I'm almost 18. If I want to visit, then you shouldn't have a problem with that, especially since you keep showing up there. Only because I'm trying to help bring justice to a young girl, Zeke. Not to reminisce about the old times. There are plenty of things at the South Side that I'd like to forget. You're acting like it was all bad. Let's just chill out. Today was crazy enough and you two don't need to be arguing. Quinlan, would you want to stay at my condo tonight and bring Zeke with you? That ain't happening, because I ain't running from no one. I was asking your sister, who is also your guardian. Zeke, can you give Ben and I a moment alone, please? I think Zeke and I will be fine here tonight. I'm not too sure about this, Quinlan. What if the Apinas were behind this? If the Apinas wanted me gone, then they would have hired someone who they knew would get the job done. Any issue I have with your father stays between your father and I. That makes me feel like you're blackmailing the man. Would that make me such a bad person? Can't say it does, Mom. Not when I'm certain he'd do the same thing to you. And neither of us can forget that he blackmailed Dr. Murphy for years. Merry Christmas, everyone. As you all know, we're here to discuss the first Christmas, which not only tells us what Christmas is truly about, but that we're offered the best gift that we could ever be given. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria, and all went to be taxed, everyone, into his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was that, while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them. And they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, For behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. And it came to pass that the angels were gone away from them into heaven. The shepherds said one to another, Let us now go even unto Bethlehem, and see this thing which is come to pass, which the Lord hath made known unto us. And they came with haste, and found Mary and Joseph and the babe lying in a manger. And when they had seen it, they made known abroad the saying which was told them concerning this child. And all they that heard it wondered at those things which were told them by the shepherds. But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. The Christmas story is a story that we should ponder in our hearts each and every day. It reminds us that God loved mankind so much that he offered his perfect, holy Son Jesus to die on the cross so that we could spend eternity with him in heaven. The Bible says that if we confess our sins, God is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. No matter what we have done, whether we consider it big or even small, God is willing to forgive us when we repent of the wrong we've done before him and trust in Jesus alone to save us, accepting the gift that God so freely offered thousands of years ago and still offers today. What happened? Pacho, what happened when you met with Lorenzo? Did he sign over the shares? He didn't even hesitate. It's yours, Viv. Russo Jewelers is all yours. I can't believe it. All the hard work, all the waiting, I finally got what I deserve. My birthright is finally in my hands. I'm proud of you, Viv. And I'm proud of you too, Pacho. I'm so grateful that you and I crossed paths this year. You stood by my side and ain't never left my side. I never really thought I'd ever know someone like you. Most of all, I never even dreamed that I'd fall in love with someone like you. I love you too. Merry Christmas, Pacho. Thanks to you, the Russos ain't gonna know what's about to hit them. How come you slept with your cook behind your wife's back? Not only did you sleep with the family cook, but she was old enough to be your daughter. In fact, she was younger than Gianni and Isidore. What do you even want with Russo Jewelers? Are you trying to take over my company? It's yours, Viv. Russo Jewelers is all yours. But it's Christmas. You're my sister and I care about you. Don't think I'm trying to gloat over your relationship issues. I really just want to make sure that you're alright. Don't try to pretend like you care about what I'm going through. You don't love me, Owen. Not really. Not when having me in your apartment, in your bed, would hurt her. But she doesn't know, and she won't find out from me. In this moment, I want you to know that I'll always be here for you, even when you're ready to leave Udell. It's okay, Quinlan. You and Zeke are gonna be okay. Where did Mom head off to? I know she's not out doing some last-minute Christmas shopping. Your mother told me that she wanted to pay a visit to Elvira's grave. She'll be back home to celebrate the holiday with us. Having you here is the best Christmas gift I ever could have gotten Wanda. Wish I knew you'd be here. I would have gotten you a gift. You've been upset all day, Vanessa. Saugaye. Max hasn't texted or called. When the two of us got together, I didn't think that we'd have relationship issues for our first Christmas as a couple, Mom. Would it hurt to call him? I'm afraid that it will. I'm worried that we might fall into another argument or that he might not want to answer my call. Are you feeling better today, Quinlan? I'm better. What matters is that Zeke and I are alive. It's crazy to think that Brandon almost stole Christmas when he pointed that gun at me and my brother. Stop worrying, Shirley. Vivian is gonna call you. My issue is that she still ain't explained to me why she'd be getting here late. What matters is that your daughter will be here for Christmas. Vivian, where are you? I'm in town, Mama, but there's something I need to get done. What could you possibly have to do before you get here? I'm righting wrongs done to our family. Sorry I wasn't completely honest with you since the beginning, Mama. And I know you'll be upset when you find out, but I hope you understand one day. Vivian? Vivian! Why do you look so troubled, Lorenzo? I'll get it. Come in, everyone. You won't want to miss this. What are you doing here, especially on this holy day? We need to take care of business. Mr. Russo, a decision was made about Russo Jewelers, and it was made for your own good. What do you mean, Vivian? Effective immediately, you'll no longer be CEO of Russo Jewelers. I see what this is. My family got you here and wanted to play some sort of joke on me for a holiday cheer, except April is months away. I know this comes as a shock, but it's true, Mr. Russo. This company now has a new CEO, someone who now owns the majority of the company. Me. Are you sure that you wouldn't have sent me a gift just to aggravate Udell? I care more about your happiness than bringing Udell pain. Like I said, I didn't think you'd be here. Did you notice a gift at your house that wasn't sent by your husband? This year, Udell and I agreed to get Yvette gifts. And he didn't even go out of his way to get his own wife anything for Christmas? I'm sorry to hear that, Wanda. It's not like I have any right to be upset. Last Christmas, my darkest secret caught up to me. The moment Udell found out, that was the beginning of the fall of my marriage. I understand that your marriage is on shaky ground, but I don't feel bad about it one bit. It's Christmas, ain't it? Why do I look so miserable? Why are you concerned, Dee Dee? Isn't this what you wanted? Don't start this. Not today. Nah, Shelly. I want to hear what Vanessa's got to say. Usually couples find a way to wish each other a Merry Christmas. Except Max and I are having issues. Just like you and JJ wanted. At least you two got what you wanted for the holiday. This holiday isn't supposed to tear us apart. It's supposed to bring us together. When I get back here, I want whatever this is to be fixed. Where's Zeke? He's at Theodosius' palace spending time with Nichelle. I really wish he didn't leave you alone on Christmas. It's fine, Ben. I knew that you'd be on your way. Not only that, but I'd like for Zeke to enjoy the holiday how he'd like. The other day, my little brother was traumatized for the millionth time. So I'd like for him to enjoy Christmas since Brandon almost took Christmas away from him. That's not your fault, Quinlan. It is. Hold on. What do you mean that you are the new CEO? I'd like to know that as well, Vivian. What are you doing? I'm the majority shareholder of this company, and I decided that I'd be running it. Clearly, you have lost your mind. I knew that I shouldn't have trusted you to begin with. Besides, you don't even have enough shares to be majority shareholder. Mrs. Russo? Or is it okay if I call you Clarice now? Would you like to fill your family in? You were supposed to be gone. Someone better explain what is going on here. Clarice, I'm giving you one last chance to come clean before I tell them for you. Don't antagonize my mother, you parasite. All you're doing is making yourself look stupid. Nah, y'all are doing that yourselves. I've got shares from every single person in this family. Mom, Dad, you didn't sign my shares over to her, did you? Don't worry, Max. Vivian doesn't know what she's talking about. She never even got shares from your Nona. Tell him, Clarice. Clarice, tell your grandson that his future has not been stolen. Girl, I'd save my breath. Let me make things a bit clearer for y'all. So I've got a confession to make. Lorenzo ain't lose his mind like I said he did. In fact, he ain't even signed his shares over to me like y'all thought. The first person who signed over their shares was Benedict. Benedict? How's he involved in any of this? Glad you asked, Alan. You see, your grandmother had been looking into my background. He found out that my mama's name is Shirley. Y'all know her as Shirley Jones. But she's Shirley Pierce now that she's married. Pierce? Wait, the same woman who's married to the new police commissioner? The same Shirley of Shirley's Diner? She came back. That woman defied me and decided to show her face here? Married to the police commissioner? I knew that Isaac was married, but he never mentioned his wife's name. What's going on here? How do you all know Shirley? My mama used to be the cook before I was born. She left town before I was born, but she wasn't exactly fired. Don't you dare say another word. What exactly do you know, Clarice? 9 months after my mama left town, she gave birth to me, Mr. Russo. Now do the math. If my mama gave birth to me 9 months after she left town, then how does that connect me to you, Mr. Russo? Shirley never told me that she was pregnant. She sure didn't, because I'm standing right in front of you. Now let me formally introduce myself, Lorenzo. Or is it okay if I call you Daddy? Am I supposed to be surprised, Owen? Here's my point. This gives you the perfect opportunity for you to achieve the sort of happiness that you deserve. Let me guess, you can provide me with the happiness that I'm longing for? You're not happy with Udelwanda. A new year is approaching. Do you really want to waste another year with a man who won't even give you the time of day? Vanessa, you're my cousin and I love you. I don't want to see you hurt. But one day you'll realize that Max ain't the right guy for you. Are you serious, Dee? Explain it to me. Who exactly would you consider to be the right guy for me? For starters, I want you to be with someone who ain't gonna harm you. Max has never once laid a finger on me. And I get that he hurt JJ. I get that Max has got a temper, but he would never harm me. Even before we got together, all he has ever done was make sure that I was okay. He always wanted to look out for me and protect me. If Max never cared about me, Dee, then he would have never come to my rescue when I found out Keith Burke was stalking me. Don't do that, Quinlan. You would never put Zeke in harm's way. But I did. My little brother could have lost his life again, and I promised myself that I would provide him with a better life than we had growing up. You have. He's no longer living a life of crime. Instead, he's entering a trade after he graduates high school. What matters is that you and Zeke are still alive. Brandon can't hurt anyone anymore, but my actions brought Brandon here. I assumed Brandon wasn't a threat, but he proved me wrong. Are you telling me that you're gonna stop looking into Danny Clark's case? Vivian, you have completely lost it. I don't know what Shirley told you, but there is no way that you could be my sister. Most of all, my father would never dare cheat on my mother. Well, he did. I'm living proof, and I got proof. I did a DNA test months ago. Read it for yourself. You mean you falsified a DNA test? You're lucky if my father doesn't throw that so-called test right back into your face. I'll gladly take another test. Granted, it will be a waste of time because it's gonna have the same results. We don't need a test because my dad never had anything to do with Shirley. Tell her dad. Tell her dad. Tell Vivian that you never once slept with her mother. Oh my goodness. It is true. You slept with Shirley? Dad, she wasn't even that much older than Elvira. Shirley was barely even 20 when she worked for us, and you slept with her? We'll figure all of this out later. Even if Dad was unfaithful, that doesn't make him Vivian's father. Like I said, if I take another test, y'all are gonna get the same result. Tell them, Clarice. I told you to leave my mother alone. She ain't leave me alone. Remember, she hired Ben because she wanted to figure out whether I was who she thought I was. Where your mother messed up was not telling Ben the whole truth. I had to tell Ben that Lorenzo knocked my mother up and had me as a result. Ben actually felt bad and signed over half of his shares to me. But I don't want y'all getting upset with him. He ain't know what I was up to. I'm relieved that I was able to gain his trust so that he could keep silent for all these months. As for Clarice, she found out that I was a little bastard she tried to keep hidden from y'all and gifted me with the majority of her shares so that I could keep quiet. I call that mistake number 2.
Clarice. Clarice, look at me. Please tell me this isn't true. Please tell me that you didn't keep this from me for 20 years. Please tell me that you did not know that I had another baby girl for 20 years.
How about you explain something to me, Lorenzo? How on earth did that girl get half of your shares? My man got them for me.
What sort of thug robbed my father of his shares? Pacho. He didn't blackmail me for my shares for his benefit. He wanted to get my shares for you, Vivian. You told him who you were. That's how he knew about Shirley.
You and Pacho Torres are a thing? If you're really No-No's daughter, then that makes you my aunt.
Yes, stupid.
And that's what this whole takeover was about? You and your mother just conspired with one another to come after the company because of revenge?
My mama ain't involved. She don't know I'm here, and she don't even know that I found out Lorenzo is my father. Before I turned 18, I overheard her speaking with my stepfather about how Clarice threatened my mother, a scared 19-year-old girl who fell pregnant, then got even more scared when Clarice threatened to take me away from her the second I was born.
Clarice, I want you to explain yourself right now.
Mama. I've already explained this to you, Owen. I will not break my daughter's heart by breaking up my family.
I understand that you don't want Yvette to be hurt, but you shouldn't stay married to a man just to keep your daughter happy, especially when you're married to a man who you don't love.
That is the last time you'll put words in my mouth, because I have loved that man since I was a teenager, and that love has never gone away, and I doubt it ever will.
All right, Wanda. I guess I should still be grateful, since you're spending quality time with me this Christmas, instead of spending quality time with Adele.
How come you never told me about this, cousin? It's not something that I like thinking about Dee Dee. At that moment, I had never been so scared in my life. That was until later on when Keith pointed a gun at me and took Ulysses' life. Max still could have called for help that day. Maybe. But he didn't know that Keith brought a weapon to school. All that was on Max's mind was keeping me safe. You and JJ need to realize that Max would never go out of his way to harm me. Now I'm worried that I might lose him. Vanessa, I'm sorry. When I saw him push JJ, I lost it, and I was afraid that he'd try to do something to you. I get that you think you might lose Max, but I hope I ain't lose you too. We're family, Dee Dee. We're stuck with each other whether we like it or not.
That's it, Dee Dee? You're quitting on me?
Come on, JJ. Haven't we already done enough?
I didn't hear Vanessa say that she and Max were over, because I sure won't accept him into our lives. Not when Ulysses is no longer in it because of him.
I can't let Danny down, Ben. Clearly I was being reckless, and I just need to be more careful for Zeke's sake. I'm just not looking forward to the news, gaining all the information on Brandon's passing, and reporting on it.
Are you worried that it will negatively impact your program?
I'm sure that Brandon's passing will bring viewers to my program. What I'm worried about is what my mom will do when she finds out what happened.
Do you think she'd look down on you and try and blame you for putting Zeke's life in danger? You don't have to care about your mom's opinion, not when she's in prison.
Except Jackie still visits my mom. I'm worried that my mom will try and get Jackie to interfere in my life. Merry Christmas, girl. You know I ain't gonna let you spend a holiday without a visit. Not when I know this is the second Christmas you've got without seeing either of your kids. How are you?
And you said that your mother wasn't in on it.
She wasn't. Wasn't in on what, Vivian? What have you done?
I think I should ask you the same thing, whore. How dare you show your face here? How dare you step foot into my home after everything you've done?
We were just leaving. Vivian, let's go.
Nobody is going anywhere, not until this is all resolved. Shirley, it's been so long.
I'm not doing this, Lorenzo.
Just tell me. I need to hear it from you. Vivian told me that you're her mother, that she's my daughter. Am I her father, Shirley?
Forget about it. For everyone's sake, just forget that whatever just happened, happened. Except they can't, cause I now own Russo Jewelers, Mama. What did you just say?
How in the world did you take over their company, Vivian?
$1 billion company. Do you mean to tell me that neither of you knew that she has been interning here since the beginning of the year? You told me that your internship was in another city at a huge media company.
No, Shirley. Your daughter has been in Valley Park this whole time, manipulating my family, deceiving my family, just so that she could steal from my family.
It ain't stealing, it's something belongs to you.
Except Russo Jewelers doesn't belong to you, and you will face repercussions for your deception, Vivian.
Let me make one thing clear. I ain't afraid of you, Isidore. I ain't afraid of any of you. If y'all ain't learned this yet, then y'all should learn that I'm a force to be reckoned with, and that y'all ain't no match for me.
Vivian Jones, you come home with us now, and when we discuss what we discuss, you will give back what you stole from these people.
I ain't giving nothing back, Mama. Happy holiday, Russos. I'm looking forward to working with you as your new leader.
Please tell me that did not just happen. Please tell me that an outsider didn't just take over our company. Don't refer to her as an outsider. Vivian she's my daughter. And she made a fool out of everyone in this room. All this time she was my daughter and I didn't know. All along, she has been planning to take over Russo Jewelers and she achieved it. Vivian was so calculated, I can't help but be amazed.
This only proves
that girl does nothing but lie. She states there's nothing wrong with you, Lorenzo, but you have clearly lost your mind. Shut up.
What did you just say to me? You two focus on your messed up marriage some other time. This is serious, Dad. A bastard, your bastard, took over our family's company. How do you think a scandal like this will affect our family's name? How do you think this will affect the company? Because I've got to be honest with you, Dad. I'm not sure how I can clean something like this up.
Watch your mouth, Isidore. You will not refer to your sister that way. Let me make one thing clear to you, Dad. Just because Shirley wowed you 20 years ago and got pregnant as a result doesn't make that deceptive, conniving tramp my sister. I told you to watch your mouth. As for you, Clarice, this whole thing could have been avoided if you had been honest since the beginning. Screw that, Lorenzo. I will not allow you to make me the villain in this story. All of this could have been avoided if you had only kept it in your pants. I did what I did to protect this family. And look how that turned out. Because your plan flopped. Our legitimate children have lost a chance to take over Russo Jewelers. Well done. As for the rest of you, don't you try and get mad at Vivian because she successfully turned you morons against one another. Mom, why didn't you come to us with your suspicions about Vivian? Why go to Ben? I can't believe I'm agreeing with Gianni. But he's right, Mom. You should have told us what you knew. Because of your silence, because you were so bent on keeping the secret, it cost your children and your grandchildren their birthright. Just tell me. I need to hear it from you. Vivian told me that you're her mother, that she's my daughter. Am I her father, Shirley?
Forget about it. For everyone's sake, just forget that whatever just happened, happened. Except they can't, cause I now own Russo Jewelers, Mama. What did you just say?
How in the world did you take over their company, Vivian?
$1 billion
company, manipulating my family, deceiving my family, just so that she could steal from my family.
It ain't stealing, it's something belongs to you.
What matters is that you and Zeke are still alive. Brandon can't hurt anyone anymore. Spit it out, Wade. What do you think I've done this time? I'd actually like to give you the chance to tell me what you did, Sean. I didn't do anything. Are you sure? Are you positive that you weren't behind the attack on Quinlan Franklin?
I'm really sorry that I didn't show up for Christmas, Max. I had to make sure that Quinlan was alright. Not showing up at the estate isn't the only thing you should apologize for, Ben. What do you mean? Is there something that you'd like to fill me in on? Something that you think your little brother should know since this concerns the entire family? You figured out that Vivian Jones is No-No's daughter. Illegitimate daughter. Not only did she gift us with her awful news on Christmas, but she snatched my future right from under me.
I hate to admit it, Pacho, but I never thought I'd see the day where you take me out on a date.
Why do you think I kept rooting for you to gain Russo Jewelers? I had to believe that you'd be successful so that I could finally show the world the beautiful woman that came into my life. Now that you're CEO, what's your next move?
First things first, I gotta move out of that apartment. It ain't a place fit for a CEO of $1 billion company. After that, I'm gonna have to figure out how to tell the world who I am.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Shirley never told me that she was pregnant.
She sure didn't, cause I'm standing right in front of you. Now let me formally introduce myself, Lorenzo. Or is it okay if I call you Daddy?
Please tell me this isn't true. Please tell me that you didn't keep this from me for 20 years. Please tell me that you did not know that I had another baby girl for 20 years.
I guess you're finally ready to talk?
I'm ready for you to explain how you've actually hated me these past 20 years.
I'm just as surprised as you are, Wade. Are you? Even when you were so eager for me to make Ben and Quinlan disappear? Since Brandon Pittman tried going after Quinlan, it was clear that he wanted to make her disappear as well. I never mentioned that Brandon was the one who attacked her. So Vivian just went to the estate and revealed who she was? That's what happened. But why weren't you the one who told us, Ben? It wasn't my secret to tell. Cut the crap! Because you kept silent, it allowed Vivian to cause damage. What exactly has she done, Max? Not only did she reveal that she's No-No's illegitimate daughter, but she staged an entire hostile takeover of Russo Jewelers.
Mama, you ain't tell me that you'd come by here. Since you walked out the other night, I assumed that this would be the first place that you'd like to enjoy the newfound wealth that you unjustly got. And I bet Grandfather Russo played some tricks to start the company in the first place. But I ain't trying to go back and forth with you, Mama. Not in front of Pacho. He's the guy I'm seeing.
Nice to meet you, Miss Shirley. I've heard a lot about you.
And I've heard enough about you, Pacho. I sure ain't eager to meet the man who schemed with my daughter. In fact, I'd like to speak with my daughter alone. Hold up, Mama. Pacho lives here. His family owns this place. You don't got no right to tell him where to go. If your friend here is offended, then he can throw me out himself.
I don't hate you, Lorenzo. You must despise me. Because if you truly loved me, then you wouldn't have hidden the fact that I had another child all of this time. For 20 years, you watched me live my life oblivious to the fact that I had a daughter. And that oblivion is what made me lose my company. That girl is young and dumb. We simply need to bring the family together and snatch Russo Jewelers out of Vivian's slimy, greedy hands. If the family gangs up on Vivian, then I'll lose my daughter for good. And I'm not gonna let you get what you want, Clarice. Not this time.
Let me be clear. I already heard about Quinlan getting attacked before you came up to me. I didn't expect to hear that news when I saw it. Something in that man must have snapped when his name came out of Quinlan's mouth on her program. A new year is approaching, and you don't know by now that I don't like being lied to? I'm not lying to you, Wade. Give me your phone. What? If what you're saying is true, then handing me your phone wouldn't be an issue.
How did Vivian take over Russo Jewelers? For starters, you gave the girl half of your shares. That was the first step she needed to turn everyone against each other. Once she got Nona's shares after blackmailing her, she made everyone else believe that Nona was losing his mind and made everyone in the family believe that they'd be next in line to take over. That's how she got enough shares to become CEO. What were you thinking, Ben? I only signed over my shares to Vivian because I felt like she deserved to have what Nona robbed her of. I didn't know what she was planning. I didn't know that she was trying to take over the company. Well, your act of generosity screwed the family over. Why do you think she hid who she really was all this time? She explained to me that she didn't think she'd be accepted into the family. She sure won't be accepted as a Russo now. As for you, Ben, you've made yourself more of a black sheep than you already are.
It's alright, Viv. You and your mother have got a lot to unpack. See you soon.
When exactly were you gonna tell me that you were seeing someone? Especially someone like Pacho Torres. Mama, did you show up to ask me about Pacho or to try and convince me to step down as CEO of Russo Jewelers? You shouldn't have walked out on Isaac and I the other day when we were speaking to you. We had nothing to discuss, Mama. I ain't gonna give Russo Jewelers back to the Russos. Not when they can't give me back the 20 years I lost out on.
You barely know that girl, Lorenzo. And you wanted me to go on with my life not knowing that she existed. Thankfully, Vivian found me.
Thankfully? Are you not upset that she slithered her way into Russo Jewelers and snatched it from our family? Can you blame her? All of her life, she grew up without a father. From the moment she was born, I wasn't there for her, and when she found out that someone like me was her father, she grew angry and wanted to get back at me for not being the sort of father she deserved. For almost a full year, I spoke to that girl as nothing more than an employee when she was my daughter all along. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. If you're looking for someone to dry your sorry tears for you, Lorenzo, then you came to the wrong person. We had a daughter, Elvira. Remember her? You should be ashamed of yourself for trying to replace our precious bro with an evil bastard whose main purpose in life is to destroy our family.
Found what you were looking for? You better have not deleted any specific messages. There were no messages to delete because I didn't send any to him. Since Brandon is no longer alive, I guess I'll just have to take your word for it. I've never heard you refer to me as the black sheep before. You want to act like one so bad, so I might as well give you the proper title, Ben. Do you even care that I'll never become CEO one day like I hoped? Max, this is the last thing I wanted to see happen. You know me better than that. Do I? Yes, you do. Besides, I'm sure that Vivian will welcome you into the company when you're able to work for Russo Jewelers. Do you know that for sure? That's what I thought.
Vivian, you are no longer a little girl anymore. None of us can go back in time, and the Russos don't care either. You stole their company. Now they are out for blood. Let them come. Girl, you don't know what you're getting yourself into with these people. You heard Isidore the other day. Besides, I thought you understood that I gave you everything you needed, baby. I needed a daddy. And you couldn't give me that, Mama. Neither of us had to struggle since Lorenzo could have offered child support without it being a financial burden to him. I know that you needed two parents to raise you, but that wasn't gonna happen then. I'm so sorry that you found out about Lorenzo the way you did. Isaac told me that I should have explained everything to you, but I kept putting it off. Lord, forgive me. If I knew that you'd pull something like this. But the fact of the matter is that none of us can rewind time. Now, when I found out that I was pregnant with you, Clarice threatened to take you away. I was scared. That's what you thought was best for me, Mama? Growing up, believing that my daddy, some mysterious stranger who was supposed to protect, adore, and love me, ain't love me and wanted nothing to do with me? You really thought it was best for me to grow up with the fact that my daddy ain't even know I existed? Do you think that Lorenzo will accept you into his life after you stole his company? It don't matter, cause his company now belongs to me.
I would never try to replace Elvira.
Don't lie to yourself, Lorenzo. The very second Vivian tells you that she's your daughter, you welcome the bastard with open arms just because you found out your night of adultery created something, and what you created that night was something wicked.
I will not stand here and let you speak of my daughter that way. Ever since that night, I felt tremendous guilt because I knew that I had betrayed the only woman I ever loved. When Shirley and you and I were growing distant. You were growing bitter and make me feel like a monster because you believed that I didn't make Elvira feel loved before her life was taken. One thing I will not apologize for is mourning my pearl. After Elvira was taken from us, you were cold and you were focused on painting yourself as the all-powerful and immortal Lorenzo Russo, but I still loved you enough not to hop into bed with the first man who ever showed me any affection. I was vulnerable. Shirley was only trying to comfort me. I was mourning. Shirley was concerned and things got out of control. Clarice, you know that I loved Elvira. You know that I missed her ever since she was taken from us. You know how painful it is to lose a child. Why would you hide the fact that I had another child out there somewhere? Because it wasn't fair. When Shirley told me that something was growing inside of her, so much rage was growing inside of me. I had just lost my baby, and you had the chance of becoming a father again because of your betrayal. I wasn't going to stand by, watch you coddle and spoil that spawn with birthday parties, Christmas gifts, and make Isidore and Gianni adore your little bastard. Especially when that spawn turned out to be female. That spawn deserved better. Vivian deserved so much better. I won't only win Russo Jewelers back, Clarice, but I will do so by winning my daughter's love.
Because I have loved that man since I was a teenager, and that love has never gone away, and I doubt it ever will.
Alright, Wanda, I guess I should still be grateful, since you're spending quality time with me this Christmas, instead of spending quality time with Udell. You don't have to care about your mom's opinion, not when she's in prison.
Except Jackie still visits my mom. I'm worried that my mom will try and get Jackie to interfere in my life. Merry Christmas, girl. You know I ain't gonna let you spend the holiday without a visit. Not when I know this is the second Christmas you've got without seeing either of your kids. You really thought it was best for me to grow up with the fact that my daddy ain't even know I existed? Do you think that Lorenzo will accept you into his life after you stole his company? It don't matter, cause his company now belongs to me. What exactly do you and Michelle have planned when you make it to Theodosius' palace?
The two of us are gonna watch movies. Then when 12 a.m. hits, we're gonna look outside the window and watch the fireworks. Were you expecting someone?
Hold on. Hey, God babies. Happy New Year. Do you realize that this is the first time we've seen each other since winter break, Max?
I'm sorry that I haven't kept in touch much these days, Vanessa. I had to process some very tough news.
What happened?
My future has been stolen from me.
Jeremiah and Shelley Dorval, Happy New Year. Are you gonna celebrate with everyone on the beachfront? Don't play dumb with us, Pacho. Not after you greenlit a smear campaign against our mentally ill son for Owen Grant's benefit. I'm really glad that you decided to enter the new year with me, Udell.
Keep your gratitude, Wanda. Yvette's sick, and I want her to focus on herself rather than worrying about what's going on with our marriage. Wanda, Udell, I'm glad that I get to see you guys on the last day of 2024.
Jackie?
Don't just stand there. Give your godmother a hug, Zeke. What are you doing here, Jackie? I heard about Brandon going crazy and trying to take you both out. I wanted to make sure that you were both all right. As you can see, we're clearly fine. Is that right, Zeke? And I thought you came by to check to see how I'm doing after Pacho Torres and Owen Grant made a smear campaign against my family. Did you not just hear what I told you, Vanessa? Maybe you just don't care. Forget what I even said, Max. Finish what you have to say. What do you mean your future has been stolen from you? My uncle Esidore's intern, Vivian Jones, turned out to be my grandfather's daughter. Illegitimate daughter. You mentioned her a couple of times before. Isn't that lady like in her 20s? I don't want to go into disgusting details. Not only is she my grandfather's illegitimate daughter, but she stole Russo Jewelers from my family. Because she's in her 20s, that means that I won't be able to run the company like I planned. If it makes you both feel any better, I didn't produce a smear campaign against your son. I was simply reminding Valley Park that your family, who's endorsing Heidi Russo, allowed your mentally ill son to have access to a weapon. You're twisting the truth, Pacho, and you know it. You know the circumstances where your father was wounded by JJ with my gun. The smear campaign made it seem like we just handed our son a weapon. Did you not think that we could take you to court for defamation? What wasn't true about what was said? Your son wounded my father with a gun, and your son is schizophrenic. I never once said that you two handed him the gun to blow my father away. Maybe you two should be asking yourselves why you couldn't keep your kids inside when my father arrived. We're about to enter a new year, young man, and I'm not gonna allow my family to be attacked by another Torres. Aye, Pacho, ready to head out to the beachfront? Oh, you gonna introduce me to your friends here?
What are you doing here, Owen? Since I'm running for district attorney, I'm taking this event to be the perfect opportunity to network with Valley Park's most influential residents. You could have done that without approaching me and my wife. The only reason I stopped by was to make sure that all three of us could make amends before the end of the year. I'm good, Jackie.
And I already made it clear that we were both good. That's great. And I see that y'all are trying to start 2025 with a bang. Where y'all going? Theodosius' palace to celebrate the new year. Ah, since you got that new TV show, you get to be around all the rich people. Ain't you worried that you might run into the Pinas over there? I really am sorry to hear about what happened, Max. I wish it wouldn't have made you distant, though.
When everything happened, I didn't know how to tell you.
All you had to do was tell me what you were feeling. Since you didn't do that, I do hope you went to God with all the hurt you suffered after everything that happened this past year. It's hard to go to God since He allowed all of it. Young lady, you just interrupted a very important conversation.
Don't talk to my lady like that. And don't you talk to my wife that way. Forget this. Come on, Viv. Let's go.
Viv? As in Vivian? That's right. Is your mother's name Shirley? Either you're psychic or you're more than just a customer at my mama's new diner. Shirley's a friend of mine, and we also attend the same church. Oh, so y'all are Christians like my mama. Nice to meet you. I'm Vivian Jones, the new CEO of Russo Jewelers.
CEO?
Guess my mama ain't tell everyone at the church the good news. Just to make sure that y'all don't act holier than thou, I need y'all to understand that Russo Jewelers is my birthright. Happy New Year. What does that girl mean when she says that Russo Jewelers is her birthright?
I don't appreciate you treating me like a fool, Owen. We all know that you're not interested in making peace. Even if you were, you'd be a fool if you think I'd let bygones be bygones.
Just hear him out, Udell.
So both of you are trying to paint me as some sort of clown. After I caught you two sucking each other's faces, you seriously think I'm gonna buy whatever he's trying to sell? Don't talk to her like that. And there's the real Owen Grant. That right there is exactly why I'd be more than happy going to my grave without making amends with slime like you. I would never be cordial to the very person who went out of their way to wreck my home.
I'm not concerned about the opinions, Jackie. Don't you think that they had something to do with Brandon coming after you? There's no proof the opinions were behind it. You saw how angry he was at the salon. Brandon thought he was big and bad, and it cost him his life. Once again, Zeke and I are good, so I'd like to bring this checkup to an end. Happy New Year, Jackie. Happy New Year. I just spoke with your kids. Stop worrying, they're good. I know that Quinlan's actions are putting them in danger, but you know your daughter? She's hard-headed. No, I won't keep my eyes off them. I promise. Just focus on getting that appeal, and you'll be able to see your babies for yourself. Don't just focus on the bad, Max. I understand that God allowed us to go through a lot this year, but He brings us nothing but good things. You got saved this year, Max. You get to have eternal life. Not only that, but God brought the two of us together, and we almost lost our lives together, Vanessa. On top of that, we might end up losing each other. I don't want to lose you, and I know you don't want to lose me either. Dee Dee decided to back off. Sure is a bit too late now. The damage has already been done. Besides, you didn't say anything about your little brother backing off. It doesn't matter what JJ wants. You and I can fix whatever's been broken. When I came here, I hoped that I would feel better. Instead, I feel just as hopeless as before. Happy New Year, Vanessa. It's so great to see you before the New Year, Shelley. What's with the unexpected visit? I met your daughter, Vivian. How? Where? At Theodosius's palace. It seems like she's involved with Pacho Torres. Not only that, but she surprised Jeremiah and I by telling us that she's CEO of Russo Jewelers because it's her birthright. What does that mean, Shirley? That girl. That girl. Shirley? Oh, Shirley. You have no idea how happy I am that we get to ring in the new year together with fireworks, not having secret meetings in your tiny apartment. It feels good to celebrate the new year in a setting that I belong, in a setting where I've always belonged at. Vivian? Does this mean your New Year's resolution is to tell Heidi how I impacted your marriage and give her a higher chance at winning the election? Unlike you, unlike my wife here, I haven't forgotten that I'm a father and that my decisions affect my daughter. And if I stand here, then I'll be just as sick as Yvette is. Maybe you two will have a New Year's kiss while I'm gone. What was that, Owen? You should have stayed away. I'm sorry. I don't believe you. Udell has a point. My actions haven't been actions of a good wife or a good mother. But she surprised Jeremiah and I by telling us that she's CEO of Russo Jewelers because it's her birthright. What does that mean, Shirley? That girl. That girl. Shirley? Oh, Shirley. It feels good to celebrate the new year in a setting that I belong, in a setting where I've always belonged at. Vivian? What's up, Yvette? Came to wish your bestie a happy new year? Are you okay now, Shirley? I will be. I'm just not sure when that's gonna happen. Do you think you'd be able to explain to me why your daughter feels entitled to Russo Jewelers? To be honest, it's my fault. It's all my fault, Shelley. What do you mean it's your fault? What did you do? I got pregnant by a married man, and that man was Lorenzo Russo. You have no idea how good it is to see you, Isabel. I wanted to let you know that I did open your gift for Christmas. What did you think? I absolutely loved it, Isidore. Truly. Is that why you stopped by the hotel, or did you come here to see the fireworks like you do every year? You're not gonna like this, Isabel, but I came by to see your son.
What do you want, Lorenzo?
I came to speak with my daughter.
So you're accepting the fact that I'm your daughter? What do you actually want? I feel like I already know, but I like to hear it from your own mouth.
I don't want anything from you, other than getting to know you better, Vivian.
What's wrong, Yvette? I made a terrible mistake, Dee, and I wasn't sure what to do, so I called you. Sounds like you called the right person. Let me give you some words of positivity. In a short time, we'll be in a new year. Whatever you did, you'll be able to give yourself grace and get a fresh new start. This is really serious. What I did, it's gonna affect me for the rest of my life. Now that Vivian acquired a billion-dollar company through deception, I guess that means my past has finally caught up to me. I understand that she's your daughter and that you love her, but Vivian is responsible for her own actions, surely. Has she always known that Lorenzo Russo is her father? How did you even get involved with Lorenzo to begin with? It was only once. I know that doesn't excuse what I did, but years ago, I worked for the Russos as their cook. They hired me because they liked my cooking and my personality when they met me at a food festival. And to answer your first question, Vivian never knew who her father was growing up, and Clarice wanted to make sure it stayed that way. Clarice knew about you and Lorenzo? I'm the one who told her about Lorenzo and the pregnancy. And Shelly, she was so mad. Throughout my time working for the family, she was the sweetest person. When she found out that her husband got me pregnant, I was so terrified. It was as if I was looking into the eyes of a monster. She threatened to have Vivian taken away from me if I didn't leave town. And because of Clarice's threat, you were gonna take this secret to the grave? What do you need to speak with my son about? Do you remember when I told you that I was expecting a huge, positive change in my life? What does that have to do with Pacho? I hate to tell you this, Isabel, but your son played me for a fool. He was scheming with someone I foolishly allowed into my life. Who is he scheming with, Isidore? My father's bastard daughter. Are you not aware that you had 20 years to get to know Vivian?
Were you not aware that I had no idea she even existed?
You could have found out if you thought to check up on Shirley after you got her into your bed, instead of pretending like she never existed after she left Valley Park.
I don't need to answer to you, Bacho. This is a conversation I should be having with my daughter, alone.
You think I'm gonna trust you to be alone with her? I don't need to be protected, Pacho. I've got this. Alright, I won't be far. Do you really expect me to buy the apologetic father act? Are you sure it's that bad, Yvette? I've ruined my life, and what I did might ruin everyone else's life. Just take a deep breath. After you did that, remind yourself that it ain't the end of the world. It is, Dee. This is the dumbest thing I could have ever done. Aight then, tell me, what did you do? That was a plan till I gave my life to Jesus and met Isaac. When I got married, I didn't want any secrets to be between us. If you were so focused on keeping Vivian in the dark, then how did she find out that Lorenzo was her father? One of the times that Isaac encouraged me to tell Vivian everything, she overheard everything. Ever since then, it's clear that she came up with this scheme that would lead to her own destruction. Lorenzo cheated on Clarice and had a baby behind her back?
My father cheated, but he never knew that the child ever existed. As for my mother, she's always known and made the foolish decision to keep quiet, especially when it mattered most.
What do you mean by that, Isidore?
My mom was suspicious and wondered if my intern was the bastard she tried to keep hidden for 20 years.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about a young woman named Vivian?
This isn't an act, Vivian. In fact, I'm disgusted that Clarice hid you from me for your entire life.
Or maybe you're disgusted that I grew up only to turn your family against one another and take over Russo Jewelers.
Here's the thing. For over 20 years, I thought I had lost my only daughter. It broke my heart to find out that I spent that time not knowing that I had another daughter. A daughter who needed her father, and it pains me that I missed out on so much.
My mama did her best. As for Isaac, he's been great ever since he married her.
The commissioner isn't your father. Since you're my daughter, I'd like to know you better. I believe there's no better way of doing that than inviting you to live at the estate.
Are you trying to put my life in danger?
I won't let a single person touch you, Vivian. You have my word. You accept?
Only 'cause I should have grown up in that house. Most of all, I need to keep a close eye on my enemies. I'll let you know when I'm ready to move in. It happened on Black Friday. What happened on Black Friday? When I walked away from you and Zeke, You know what? Never mind. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. If it brings you any comfort, Vivian is an adult now. The Russos can't take her away from you, Shirley. Even though it's clear that she's got a lot of growing up to do, she's got more power than the Russos since she's CEO. And the Russos will do whatever it takes to get that power back, Shelley. Most of all, I'm worried that Vivian might just lose her soul since she's got more wealth and power than she ever would have imagined.
How do you know Vivian?
Pacho introduced me when the Mitchells held their Juneteenth event here. I had no idea that they were conspiring with each other or that she was even your sister.
My dad might have had something to do with that bastard's existence, but she'll never be a sister of mine, Isabel. Vivian will never be family.
What are you going to do now?
Guess I'll have to discuss that later. Happy New Year, Isabel.
Happy New Year.
Since my year isn't on to a great start, would it be okay if I get a New Year's kiss?
As long as you decide not to confront my son.
Deal.
Happy New Year, Quinlan. Happy New Year, Ben. Now that it's 2025, I really hope that you can cheer up. Max will come around and forgive you for keeping Vivian's identity a secret. You didn't see how angry he was with me. Happy New Year.
I was wondering when you'd show your face.
I really am sorry, nephew. I'm sorry for keeping you in the dark about my true plans. This really was the only part I was nervous about, Ben. We've been cool with each other ever since you found out the truth, and I hope it can stay that way.
You've got the nerve to call me nephew when your actions have pretty much turned my little brother against me and caused more of a rift in my family?
I never wanted to use you, especially after you freely signed over half of your shares to me. But I'd also like to speak to your girlfriend here. Discuss what exactly? I already spoke with Pacho, and he said that it would be okay if I speak with you on your program and offer you the biggest story of the year so far, my rise to power in my family's company. Ben already told me how you got that power, Vivian. Are you sure that you want to be on my program? We can discuss the sordid details off record. I just want the whole world to know my side of the story and how I plan to take Russo Jewelers into the future. What do you say?